And I was getting ready to call my kids and kind of yell at them a little bit. And I'm talking to Laney. I look over and Kyle goes, "Uh-oh, look." Whoops. Oops. So that's one hell of a way to start out a Friday show going into the meat of the draft that you guys all care about. Last night was just kind of a bit of an appetizer, wasn't it? You thought, all right, do the Colts have any interest, as you have been told, at all in trading up and getting to Jordan Love? Anybody at all? And listen, I told you leading up to this, I didn't think that they were going to draft anybody until the latter stages. You know, what did I say? 4th round, quarterback-wise. I didn't think they were going to draft anybody quarterback-wise until that point. And I guess we'll never really know how much love, quote-unquote, they had for Jordan Love. It seems like if they would have had some, maybe you would do something about it. I didn't really buy into a lot of the hype that was surrounding him regarding the Colts, and they didn't. I will say this. There are a lot of ways that I think you're going to look back on this draft, and we'll, I'm sure, recalibrate as we get further down the road. There are a lot of ways you can look at this particular draft with the Colts and put a level of importance on it. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. There are a lot of things that I do understand. Like when those of you say, hey, you're nuts, why would you want them to use 34 and 44? Why would you not want them to logically trade down? Because you can still get the value that you're looking for and then maybe add a little bit for next year when maybe you really want to move up to try to draft a quarterback that you want. And that's great. And, always looking ahead to next year, that's wonderful. Here's the thing, though. I mean, this year, you got a 38-year-old quarterback, and you are in some prime real estate in this draft to take full advantage of it. There's no way in the world he's going to go back-to-back, 34 and 44. I mean, logically speaking, he's probably not going to keep one of these, right? He's going to trade out of one of these, whether it's going to be 34 or 44. I guess logic dictates that's how he works, and that's what he would like to do. And maybe you're looking for, some draft picks in 2021, maybe another third rounder that you can parlay with some other selections if you need to move up and if you like a quarterback coming out of college next year, right? I'm more living in the now, and here's why. I'm living in the now. I'm living in the 2020, going into the season of 2020. And, like it or not, and it's great for building further down the road. That's fantastic. But like it or not, they're living in the now, too. Because if they weren't living in the now, we would not be talking about a 38-year-old quarterback being the signal caller here. They are. Everybody in the NFL, you'll hear this half a dozen times later on tonight. Well, the Colts are one of those teams that are going for it and going for it right now. So that's why I'm less worried about how they strategically put together some sort of stash of selections because further down the road, they're going to have to draft a future quarterback. I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, that they don't like somebody here, and I don't think they do, but we'll see. You're playing for it in the now. And believe me, will I get it? Will I get it if they go 34 and they get the best wide receiver on their board? I'll be fine with that. And then maybe at 44, you see the slippage of a defensive back. Like Jeremy Chin of Fishers High School. Or Delpit of LSU. Somebody like that slips a little bit. I will just tell you, if I'm Chris and company, I would take full advantage of what you have in front of you right now, and that is a great deal to choose from when it comes to wide receiver. I wasn't bummed about how many went off the board last night because there are still guys that most people out there will tell you that are ready-made to help right now, and that's what's necessary. Planning for the future has been great. It has been great, but you started planning for the now the moment that number 12 decided he didn't want to play football anymore. Because your now no longer worked once you saw the now being Jacoby Brissett, and you had to move off that path. You had to reconfigure, reconstruct. because we all know this. There's no way in the world they wanted to bring in a $25 million 38-year-old quarterback. They just felt compelled out of what they saw a year ago and what they know, which is certainly a hell of a lot more than what we know, that they believe in one guy over the other right now. And that's why they made the deal that they did. But looking back to last night, we'll have plenty of time throughout the course of the afternoon to get into that. But about this, the whole draft last night, I thought it was fine. There was a sense of normalcy. The ultimate sense of normalcy was this. You guys gather it last night. The ultimate sense was everybody bitching and moaning about what was going on. And I'm not just talking about the picks, because that's what we all do. That's what fans do. That's what media folks do. I mean, conversationally, everybody's going to have a better idea than what Chris Ballard is going to have. Doesn't mean they do. It doesn't mean that sometime down the road that they don't get lucky and may be proven right either. But we all know that they have the knowledge and we don't have the knowledge. But it is what makes the NFL so great. I mean, all these different debatable points that keeps it right up there in everybody's front of mind, front burner. Conversationally, it's what makes it so great. So how you knew things were kind of back, at least for one night last night, was everybody was complaining about this and that, all the production. I mean, what do you think this was going to be? This wasn't going to be the damn Academy Awards. I mean, I can't imagine trying to not just do that on the fly, kind of get into a rhythm with something you just haven't done before, but even putting that together would have driven me nuts. I'm glad we saw somebody in Mike Vrabel's house apparently on the crapper. Was he on the crapper or sitting on a stool in a reflection, though? I don't care. I hope he was on a crapper. Seriously, these are times. You guys have all been holed up in your homes for a month. You've probably walked by an open crapper door and somebody's been in there using it. So why not on the draft? Why not in the first round? I give that a huge thumbs up. Oh, yeah, like nobody has to take one during the draft? Sure they do. But I thought last night was great. Now, was it compelling? Was it interesting? Yeah, not really until the whole Jordan Love stuff. It wasn't. I mean, it sure as hell wasn't for us around here because, I mean, the Colts, other than for the trading of DeForest Buckner and talking, and at the moment, too, did you get that last night? I mean, Javon Kinlaw is the greatest, and John Lynch is savvy and great. Look what he did. He traded one guy for another. Well, I mean, Chris is banking on Buckner being a hell of a lot better right now than what Kinlaw was going to be right now. And I know that Kinlaw is going to be cheaper. But money didn't matter. Money wasn't an object. That's why Chris Ballard and company, that's why they stored monies like squirrels do nuts in the wintertime for moments like that. So I know at the moment you're going to, this is why San Francisco is great, and look how much money they're saving. Chris is banking on DeForest Buckner being much better for the now. And again, we're talking about the now. Maybe Kinlaw is good. Maybe he's not great right away. Yeah, hell, maybe maybe when he starts to get good, who knows? In San Francisco, maybe it's time for Armstead to go. Once you pay Bosa so much, maybe it's going to be time to make another decision along that defensive line. Maybe it's going to be time for somebody else to go. So you hope that you strike oil in that first round if you're San Francisco with that, and then you trade back and get another pick, and that's great. But Chris felt he needed to do at 13 what he needed to do in moving it and trading for DeForest Buckner. I get it. And again, that compels us all to believe that this is absolutely in the now. I mean, you can see it further down the road other than quarterback and kind of wonder, well, the pieces are starting to be put together and fall together and they're playing for the now. Those pieces aren't together unless you really, truly address that skill position offensively tonight. And I'm not going to be one of those people that just kind of loses it. But again, that's the sense of normalcy that's returned. Oh, man, this stinks. Oh, man, blah, blah, blah. I'm just glad that something was back that I can count on being here once a year at this time of year. Because there hadn't been nary anything that we could have counted on in the last month that has gone as we're used to seeing it go. Nothing. Zero. So even with the lack of compelling circumstances until the end, man, I was cool with it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I had one complaint last night, you know what that is, right? Because I'm kind of in this a buttload of sleep pattern right now. I was kind of saying, can you guys hustle up here? Because I'm not going to get my 10. I want to get my 10. It's going to be weird, too. I don't know how I'm ever going to snap back into place here. Like if things get back to normal and I'm having to get up at 5:30 in the morning and wrangle the kids up and take Blake to where the hell ever, Laney, wherever, drop off line sports and all that crap going on before 9. I have no idea how I'm going to maintain this level. It's going to be tough to get back. It's been easy, I think, to adapt to the double digits hours of sleep when you come from a place where you only get 5.5 per night. I just don't know how I'm going to get back there. I have no idea how I'm going to get back there. But last night, that's the only thing I thought of. I go, hey, can we hustle this up a little bit? Because I don't want to take this handful of sleep aids before I find out that the Colts aren't going to do anything. And as it stands last night, they didn't do anything. Michael Gigi says, do you not close the door while taking a dump? We're living in a society. I don't think he was, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you're used to it. Maybe you guys have an open door policy in the last month. I mean, heck, most of you haven't been outside. I get it. Living in the now. And speaking of living in the now, that's something the Colts have to understand later on tonight. And hopefully they do. Again, will I be devastated if they go wide receiver and safety, for example? No, because a safety slides to 44. No. But I will tell you this. If they go safety because the wide receiver at 34 is just not the best on their list, or if they trade out of 34 and then they don't get to a wide receiver until the third round, and then come October of this year, we're talking about the same crap, yeah, then we'll probably take some issue with it, right? I mean, you guys know where I stand because I've been in this place for a number of years, basically the past 3. And you know what else? There are a lot of things that we talk about on shows like this, not just here, but across the dial. Shows like this, there are a lot of things we talk about, and it's a complete and utter waste of time. I'm the first to tell you that. I mean, it's just like a lot of conversations that you have, right? I mean, we're just kind of a microcosm of life. A lot of conversations you have just turn out to be a complete and utter waste of time. This, to me, is not one of them. You want to know why? Because this has been an issue through the good and the bad. This was an issue when this team won a playoff game last. This was an issue when this team certainly was an issue when this team was last in a divisional round playoff game. It was the issue. And it was an issue again a year ago. Now, the circumstances were different. I mean, there were injuries. There were surprise injuries. There were bad injuries. But still, you've been dealing with this for 3 years. Now it's time to do something about it. Because you have the means to do something about it. I mean, this is outside of not having, a number one. I mean, the Colts are sitting in a great spot right now. I mean, a great spot to get some help you in the present. And I'm not talking about how, somebody at 34 or 44 might help another team. I'm not worried about another team. I'm worried about this one. This is the one we cover. This is the one we talk about ad nauseum 24/7, 365 around here. And that concern, it is at that position. And it has been for 3 years. Even if they tell you it's not, and even if they tell you they've addressed it, sure, they're not lying. They have. It hasn't worked. I mean, the best, the most counted on guy you have at that position on the field is still a guy that Ryan Grigson drafted. Therefore, you have failed in that department. You got the means tonight. Do something about it. And we'll see. I mean, do I think that they're going to address with a couple? Yeah. But this being so deep, see, I think we look at the depth at that position a lot differently, don't we? Like, I look at the depth of, hey, look, you got a 38-year-old quarterback and you want to win tomorrow? Get some guys. Get some dudes. Not even guys. I'm not going to say guys. You can draft some guys in the 4th round. Draft some of those guys in the 5th round. As my man Greg said earlier today, draft some dudes. You got a chance to get yourself a couple of dudes later on tonight. Draft some dudes that are going to help you right now. And if you do have T.Y. Hilton succumb to injury again, which is possible. I know he hasn't been an all-too-injured dude in the past, but he is getting older, into his early 30s. Maybe you can better deal with it. Hey, listen, I like Zach Pascal as much as any of you guys like Zach Pascal, maybe more. I mean, I was an advocate of keeping him when we thought that wide receiver position was going to be loaded up. You know, remember back when that whole pipe dream of Deion Kane was going on? Remember that pipe dream? Back then. But now's the time, because circumstances certainly have changed. Now's the time to play for now. You can draft the guys. You can fill the void, cross your fingers, and hope for greatness of the future. Draft some guys with a 4, with a 5. Draft some guys there. Draft some dudes in the 2s. Draft some guys that are ready to turn around and get it done right now. That is my conclusion. And we can talk at you about it at 239-1070. Email address, jmv@1070thefan.com. Mike Greenberg is going to join us from ESPN at the bottom of the hour. And obviously all over ESPN is, how is Aaron Rodgers going to feel? I mean, he probably should be understanding of that position, because it happened to him, except the shoe was on the other foot. I don't know if Jordan Love is going to be any good. And I know that apparently Aaron Rodgers had been talking about maybe retiring in the next couple of years, stepping away. I bet you last night you're going to get at least 5 more years out of Aaron Rodgers just because of last night. Want to bet me? 5 more years from Aaron Rodgers just by virtue of last night. It was funny. I think Pat McAfee, who's a friend of the show, has his own show on Westwood One, had Aaron Rodgers on, and basically the quote was, I'm going to paraphrase here, the quote was to this degree of, you know, they haven't in how many years drafted a skill position player or a wide receiver for him. It'd be really nice if they did that. And then not only did you do it, and by the way, they still have time to do it. I mean, they still have time to satisfy, but at that position, that was a shocker for most last night. I bet you just got 5 more years of Aaron Rodgers, barring injury, out of that. You agree? Hey, JMV, if the Colts are serious about trying to win now, they don't trade away 34 tonight for 46 is reported. Yeah. Woo! This show's going to be a heller coming up on Monday if that happens, won't it? So, when they go draft 44 and 46, they got all the answers. They got all the answers. I just don't understand why it's not okay to go 34 and 44 right now. And you know what? If it's against the grain, or maybe better yet, if it's even against what has been a mandatory philosophy of yours if you're Chris forever, even if it's against that, then so be it. You want to know why? Because there's no way in the world that doing what they did and paying what they did for Phillip Rivers was not against that particular philosophy. There's just no way. None. Zero. You want to win now? Your owner sure as hell wants to win now. There's no doubt the fans want to win now. You get a fan base that's used to winning now. 34 and 44. I mean, if you feel as if your wide receiving position is as developmentally challenged as it has been over the past number of years, and listen, I hope, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I spilled coffee all over the damn kitchen a little bit ago. I'm going to go ahead and raise my cup, my B105.7 JMV Takeover Tomorrow Night cup. I'm going to raise my cup to your philosophy. But everybody wants to win now. You want to win right now. I don't think there's anything wrong to go against the grain. Do something you never thought you were going to. I mean, a defensive line and an offensive line guy, and go back-to-back skill position dudes. I'd be okay with it. I would. I listen, I will fall short of telling you that I'll demand it. This is what I want to see. I won't see it, but I won't feel bad in telling you about it. Not at all. See, this is why Rob Brown sends this. You guys ready? Do what Polian did 20 years ago and take wide receiver back-to-back. Remember how well Jerome, Pathon, and E.G. Green worked out. Yeah, I don't remember anybody ever talking about that particular draft like this one. Hey, listen, if that happens further down the road, Rob, I'll deal with it. All right? But if they break down at that position in October of next year, then you can deal with that. You can worry about not being Pathon and E.G. Green, and I'll be more worried about October when you go, holy hell, you have to go to the free agent market and find somebody that's on the waiver wire because you don't have anybody healthy or anybody progressing. I'll worry about E.G. Green and Jerome Pathon. You worry about October. You worry about the postseason. I'll worry about a general manager who is 1 for 3 in postseasons around here. You want to be 1 for 4? Hey, I think Chris is really smart at what he does. I think Chris is really good at what he does. Does 1 of 4 dictate really good at what he does? How's that going to look? We'll see. We shall see. This is what this is all about. Just open debate. This doesn't just feel normal. I mean, this is normalcy right here. This is what everybody is striving for. That's why all that complaining last night, throw it out the window. Nobody's worried about what was wrong and what Goodell said wrong. And who cares? There was a sense of normalcy we have not had in over a month anywhere. That was awesome. That was awesome. Be even better tonight, too, because the Colts are going to be intensely, we expect, involved into this. All right, your calls at 239-1070. Email address at jmv at 1070thefan.com. This show is on Twitter at JMV1070. Also, YouTube Live. I'll ask some questions. I think Kyle's already posted where we are at 107.5 The Fan on YouTube Live. And I had neglected it, honestly, until about, 2 weeks ago. And I thought, you think about drive time right now. Drive time's just not what it used to be. It's just not. And I understand that. And I know you guys are all trying to tune in from wherever you are. Maybe you have the old school Philco radio out. Maybe you found your Walkman from 1985 in the closet. Maybe you've got a smart device that you're listening to. Maybe you're sitting out in your car doing whatever, and then you turn me off every time I say something you think that makes me sound like a jackass, then so be it. There's normalcy again. But we also are up on YouTube Live where you can not only see, but you can also hear, and then you can participate as well. YouTube Live, 107.5 The Fan channel. All right, Mike Greenberg's going to join us bottom of the hour. Mike Wells of ESPN.com coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Our friend Bob Lovell at 4:30. Hashtag Ask Pat still happening tonight, too. Hashtag Ask Pat. Pat Sullivan's in studio from Sullivan Hardware and Garden at 5:30. And I think how we really need to truly start off your weekend, especially when the Colts are going to get big time involved later on tonight, I think we got to have ourselves an Anything Goes. Anything Goes leading up to the last word with Matt Taylor, the Gore Man, and Casey Valier, and then your draft coverage, which I thought was really good last night. Rick Venturi, as he normally does, just knocked it out of the park. Well done with our radio coverage last night. And it was probably a smart move to leave me off the list. But, yeah, that was well done. Everybody involved. It was a great listen. And, listen, you know me. I can listen to Rick all day. And we'll get Rick back on the show on Monday to go over the matters of what did take place in this draft for the Colts. But you'll get that later on tonight, 7 o'clock. And you will get all-day Saturday draft coverage. Now, we'll tell you this. I'm glad I'm not in there for that. But all-day Saturday at noon coverage coming up here. And then you got me Saturday night, 6 until 10, down the hall at B105.7 in the JMV Takeover. The best of the 90s and a lot of 80s. And you guys are going to love what I'm going to play for you. Or I should say this, I guess I'm going to love what you guys play for me because you guys dictate, you guys schedule what's going to be played like you did last week. And hopefully we'll get live at hashtag JMV Takeover on Twitter once again coming up tomorrow night on B105.7. All right, quick break. Mike Greenberg of ESPN will talk about some of the highlights and what could be in store later on tonight with the NFL Draft. That and a lot more. Mike Greenberg's going to join us. Other side next.
Sports with Dan Dockich.
Mitch Daniels, the president of Purdue. What is your thought on whether or not Purdue football will be played this fall?
I'm hopeful, and I would point out, this thing has come on us all so fast. Just 6 weeks ago, we had no idea what was coming. We've got 3 times that long, Dan, before school even starts again. Nobody can say right now that we can be confident, certainly of a full season of the way, and a season the way we've known it.
Dan Dockich, weekdays, noon till 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV for Connecticut Water, the absolute best. And during these uncertain times, Connecticut remains open and your place to be. You can find them online, ConnecticutIndy.com, or the Connecticut app you can download right now. And Connecticut is currently offering that $1,200 instant rebate on the Premier Series water softener and the K5 in-home drinking water station. You don't need water bottles. You have it in your home with Connecticut. The 2 locations, Northeast Side, Castleton, South Side, US 31, and Southport Road, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
Hey, Indy. This is Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts. We are facing unprecedented times right now. And like a team, together we will face this challenge head on. To win, we need to 1, stay home, 2, stay strong, and 3, support each other and those in need through a call, an email, or a donation. We miss you and cannot wait to see you all.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
John Clayton, the professor.
What did you make of the Colts offseason moves?
I gave it an A- getting Phillip Rivers and then making the trade for DeForest Buckner, who arguably is the 3rd best interior defensive lineman in football. I thought those moves were great. And the question is going to be, with that 2nd pick in the 2nd round, will they take a quarterback like Eason?
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 till 10. Only on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Get him a body bag! Yeah! All right.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We'll get Mike Greenberg on here in a smidge if you guys are ready. All right, let's rock it here. 107.5 The Fan via YouTube. Love to have you on board here. Appreciate you. I got a lot of questions. I got the Indiana State T-shirt rocking today. A little JMV Sucks logo, one of my favorites from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. You guys can check it out. It says, JMV Sucks, eats, drinks, and eats again. I've been really good about not eating again, though. I'll eat at night. Well, not at night, but you know what I mean. When I get home, like right 6 to 7 o'clock or whatever. That's it. I'm getting a lot of sleep. JMV, I want one of Pittman, Mims, or Higgins. One will be there with the 34 selection. Pittman, Mims, and Higgins. I would agree with you on that. Well, one of those dudes will be there. Get back to that in just a second. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from ESPN, Mike Greenberg joins us. Hey, first and foremost, network and colleagues, I thought last night's broadcast was fantastic considering everybody was breaking new ground of some sort last night, and I thought it was great. I really did.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you very much on their behalf. I can take absolutely no credit for it, but I too enjoyed watching it, and I think it was great, and I think it had. I thought that everybody really struck the right tone, which is that it was just fabulous that we were able to do it. And I had Roger Goodell on my show a few days ago, and he said, and I heard him repeat it last night. He said, we're doing this within all of the rules that everyone else is. I mean, all of us are just trying to do our jobs now as best we can under these circumstances. And the NFL conducted their draft without endangering the safety of anyone, and they didn't ask for any special exemptions to do it. So I think it was a huge win all the way around, and it had its usual intrigue and maybe not quite the same energy that it usually does, but I think all in all, it was a terrific night.
Hey, Mike, were you privy to how much rehearsal went into this? Because as I mentioned, that's something that nobody's really ever been involved with like that before. I mean, I'm talking about directors and producers and everybody involved. How much rehearsal time were you aware of went into that?
Well, they did a mock draft. The league conducted a mock draft, its own draft, where they actually went through the mechanics of it on Monday. And what we heard coming out of that was that there were some technical glitches that delayed the first pick being made, and then beyond that, it all went smoothly. And whatever it was they had an issue with, they obviously figured out, because I think it went very smoothly last night. As far as the broadcast piece of it, I really don't know. I wasn't involved directly in any of that, but I thought it came off extraordinarily well. We have really experienced people, and at the end of the day, get smart people on TV talking about football, and people will watch. And I think that's what we did last night. So it was great.
It's Mike Greenberg on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So now with what took place at the end of the first round last night, will Aaron Rodgers play until he's 70 now because of this?
Well, I think it's just a fascinating move. And listen, history tells us that the great quarterback does not like it when the team drafts his heir apparent. And the first really great example of that I remember was in the early 90s. John Elway was the legendary quarterback of the Broncos, and far younger, by the way, than Rodgers is now or than Favre was 15 years ago. And the Broncos and their coach, Dan Reeves, who had gone to multiple Super Bowls together with Elway, and they were extremely close, they drafted Elway's heir apparent, Tommy Maddox. And Elway never forgave Reeves for that. Ultimately, Reeves got fired. Maddox was out of there in no time. Elway was around another 6 or 7 years and won Super Bowls in each of his last 2 seasons. And that is the first of many examples where the legendary quarterback doesn't like it. Favre didn't like it. Brady didn't like it. These guys don't like it when you make a move to bring in their heir apparent. In the particular case of Rodgers, I totally get it, because here's a team that was one game away from the Super Bowl last year. If I'm Rodgers, I'm thinking to myself, I've given you a first ballot Hall of Fame career. We've made a total of 1 Super Bowl, and we have not drafted anyone in the first round who plays an offensive skill position in a generation. Get me some help. We're that close, rather than building for the future. So I don't blame Rodgers for being upset about it. I think if I were in his shoes, I would feel the same way.
So Mike Greenberg from ESPN and Get Up, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, that was the thought last night. And you getting back to, quarterbacks not liking seeing guys that are supposed to be their heir apparent being drafted. We had that here with the whole Manning and the Luck situation. And I remember this is maybe the worst take of all time, and it was mine at the time, and I call myself out for it all the time. I said, why not draft Andrew Luck and let him sit behind Peyton Manning? I did. I said that crap right here through this damn microphone back then, and I still call myself out for the ridiculousness.
Well, I can tell you that you weren't the only one who felt that way. We had, I was hosting Mike and Mike then, and we had plenty of people come on and suggest that was the right way to do it. And we don't know. Look, Peyton didn't want any part of it, and that I get it. But we don't know that it wouldn't have worked out well had they done that. Obviously, it worked out well for all parties for the most part, the way they did it. Peyton went on and made 2 more Super Bowls, and Luck obviously had sensational seasons in Indianapolis, and it was unfortunately cut short. But Montana didn't like it with Steve Young. It just doesn't work. And listen, I do think, and I'm going to do an essay on this one day next week, if you look at the Packers, no team in NFL history has had a run this long of first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacking in the entire history of the league. And they've been to a total of 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. I don't know if that really can be deemed an organizational success. I think there's a lot of blame to go around there. And it comes at a time when the quarterback position is more important than it's ever been before. But the Montana Young era wasn't nearly as long as this, and they won 5 Super Bowls during that time. You look at Peyton and Luck and all these guys, that run isn't nearly as long. You look at what the Packers have had at the quarterback position with Favre and Rodgers, who were arguably both top 10 quarterbacks in the history of the game. They've had one or the other every season since 1992. I'm not sure you couldn't say that organizationally they have to some degree underachieved.
Hey, Mike, I know you guys probably haven't talked too much about the Colts, especially given the fact they weren't in the first round last night. But I'm kind of curious because conventional wisdom, at least nationally and some locally, is that the Colts are and can be capable of winning and, getting really far into the postseason, maybe to a title game type of situation in 2020. The way that they're made right now, if they add the right parts, even with a 38-year-old quarterback that maybe had one of his worst years just a season ago with the Chargers. Do you believe yourself that the Colts are in that particular position?
Well, I think you just put your finger on the most important question. And so I will, because you were there day in, day out living in it, I will ask you, what exactly is wrong with Jacoby Brissett? Which is to say, it felt to me, watching from the relative distance at which I did, that Brissett was maybe, I don't know, a half a step below like an MVP candidate for about half a season last year. And then he got hurt, and then he never really looked the same again, and the team followed a downward trajectory. But I was quite encouraged by what I saw from him. On the flip side of that, Phillip Rivers, and look, I'd love to be wrong. I like Phillip Rivers a lot. But he didn't look like a guy who had a bad year to me last year. He looked like a guy who was done. And maybe coming and playing a dome and all that kind of stuff will help. But he was playing for the most part in good weather last year. He did not look like a guy to me who had, at that age, some guys do and some guys don't. Brady obviously does. Breeze does. Rivers, to me, did not look like he had anything left. He looked a lot closer to Eli Manning than he did to Drew Brees. And if he is that, then I would say no, because the AFC is loaded with really good young quarterbacks. If Rivers somehow rediscovers some sort of fountain of youth, or if maybe they go with Jacoby Brissett, I really thought they might go an entirely different direction at quarterback when the whole thing began, then yeah, I think the rest of the team, the offensive line, the defense, yes, I absolutely think they are Super Bowl caliber, but I personally have major questions about the quarterback they brought there. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you this, and you can play off of this as well. These are two thoughts, and one is real, and one is just kind of based on the opinions that I gather sitting here on a daily basis. The one is with the team. Even if they say how much they like Jacoby and they want to have 5 to 7 plays per game installed just for him, I mean, that's just kind of patting him on the back right now. They lost confidence in Jacoby making the higher level quarterback play that is necessary. All teams are going to need this to get to where these guys goal-wise want to go. A title game, a Super Bowl, what have you. And they say all they want, but they lost confidence in Jacoby Brissett. And what's interesting about the audience or the fan base, Mike, around here is, to me, it's been one of two things. One, it's listen, I mean, we saw the same old with Jacoby Brissett. We're ready to move on. They're looking for anything else right now. And they may be non-believers in Phillip Rivers at 38 because of the way he looked, especially a year ago. But I think most fans were around here thinking that it was time to make a change and are happy the Colts are making a change regardless. That's where we sit right now.
Well, we'll root for the best. And I guess, again, here's the outsider asking what is probably a dumb question. Is there no chance Andrew Luck ultimately decides to come back?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the owner, Mike, the owner still, but I mean, Jim is always a guy that has a great deal of positivity and hope. And I think he always has held out hope that one of these days Andrew would change his mind and, feel that need to come back again. I just think most people around here, including myself, think that time is now passed and it won't happen.
Well, here's just the reality of it. You've got Phillip Rivers at 38 and Jacoby Brissett, in whom you're telling me they have no confidence. And you're playing in a conference that has Patrick Mahomes in it, and has Lamar Jackson in it, and has Deshaun Watson in it, and a bunch of other good, let's see what some of the other young quarterbacks turn out to be. Any of the combination of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and now Tua Tagovailoa and the kid Justin Herbert they just picked with the Chargers. And there are a lot of quarterbacks, young quarterbacks in the AFC. And, the Colts quarterback is 38 years old. So they're going to need to figure out something there longer term. I really thought they might go after one of the free agents. I thought they might.
I think they wanted familiarity. I think that's what it came down to was Frank and Nick Sirianni, the familiarity they have with Rivers, because especially now the concern is you're not going to be able to log in the normal amount of work, and a lot of these quarterbacks, especially the rookies, are going to be playing from behind a hell of a lot longer than what they have been, and I think that was some of the concern if they had any interest whatsoever in any other free agents, and I think that they went with the familiar face, a guy that had known 85% of the playbook walking through the doors once he does here, and that's Rivers. I think that was one of the chief reasons as to why.
Well, I get it. And look, if it works, then yes. Then I think, I think that is an eminently winnable division. Tennessee, people, they snuck into the playoffs. The Texans, I have almost no confidence in their leadership. Frankly, I have no confidence in anyone there besides Deshaun Watson, and the Jaguars are tanking. So, I mean, the division is there for the taking. So if they get above, just slightly above average quarterback play, then there's no reason they shouldn't contend for, if not win, the division, and then you give yourself a chance. So we'll see. But look, at the end of the day, I think everyone in the conference for the foreseeable future is looking up at Mahomes in Kansas City, and let's see if anyone can catch him.
It's Mike Greenberg from Get Up. I know you got to bail here. You got other stuff to do, but I appreciate you jumping on, and we'll see. The Colts are going to have some action here at the top of this second round, night number 2 later on tonight, so I'm sure that your colleagues there will be talking at great length regarding Chris Ballard and company, because there should be a spark or two happening this evening.
I'm sure, and he's done a fabulous job. I mean, you want to talk about going from night to day, or whatever the appropriate analogy would be. So yes, I'm sure there will be. Good luck to the Colts. Thank you very much for having me, and it's just nice to be talking some sports, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, with all the stuff that's going on, just nice to be talking about football.
It was normalcy last night for the first time in a month. I mean, it really was for a lot of folks.
It was.
Mike, thank you.
My pleasure. We'll talk again. Thank you for having me.
Mike Greenberg of Get Up on ESPN's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, the outsider view of that is my complete take. Because if you remember, I mean, I've been kind of talked into Rivers too, because I wasn't initially that big of a fan, but it's clear that they lost belief. They lost confidence. And to me, it's also clear that you want to have somebody that's already been established within the offense that you run, somebody that is familiar. And even with that 1-year deal, somebody that you believe, if it works out, will play one more year. Now, again, if it doesn't work out, and everybody out there, and you could tell Mike was on the side of Rivers being washed. If it doesn't work out, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's a failure if it doesn't work out. And then you're going to be, who knows what we're going to be looking at next year. But that is where they are right now. And again, there's another reason as to why they should take tonight, especially in the draft, as they took the reins of this quarterback position. And make sure a guy that struggled a year ago, make sure that he has good weapons. It'll be young, it'll be unproven, but make sure that he has talented guys. And you have talented guys sitting right on your doorstep without trading back, without thinking about the future, without, logging together a bunch of selections for future years and being so damn savvy. I think some things should be, easier to do. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world to, hey, look at this need and look at what is in front of us right now. Do you? I mean, does it take started from the bottom and then worked his all the way up, a grinder and, just an incredible Lombardi-esque brain to figure that one out? All right, quick one, we'll come back. Your phone calls at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. The show is on YouTube Live. Hey, get in the conversation with Sean Adams and Joan in Arizona, my man John McClain. I got Reese is on there too. You guys are having a good one, a spirited debate on a Friday, which is always necessary. We're doing that on YouTube Live. Mike Wells, top of the hour. I got time for your calls. Other side next.
Shut in or just hanging out. Nice thing about Kevin Bowen's podcast and the latest sports news is you can listen anytime, anywhere. 1075thefan.com or your inbox for free.
DraftKings Sportsbook is America's top-rated sportsbook app. It's adding to the thrill of the NFL Draft with a special sign-up offer up to $1,000. Think you know what your team is going to do? Put your money where your mouth is. DraftKings Sportsbook is offering all users a special 20% profit boost on any 2 bets you make on the draft. Number of ways to take action on the draft and cash in on the profit boost. First, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code WFNI when you sign up, and for a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook has a sign-up bonus up to $1,000, and don't forget, enter code WFNI and get your sign-up bonus up to $1,000 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21 or older, Indiana only. Deposit comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices.
Indiana's auto giant is changing car buying forever. Introducing a warranty so huge, you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered. It's Eubler Auto Group's massive 10-year, 200,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any new vehicle at all Eubler locations with the warranty included. Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. The warranty's included. Acuras, Hondas, Nissans, and Mazdas. The warranty's included. The Eubler family has helped Hoosiers for 60 years, and we're not stopping now. Visit driveeubler.com for the perfect car and our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. As Indiana's auto giant, Eubler has it all. Why buy anywhere else? You're invited to Eubler. Click driveeubler.com. Warranty available on new vehicles, except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Hey, it's Johnny and my friends at Forum Credit Union, always trying to come up with new, ingenious ways to help lower your monthly spending. And now more than ever yes, it's necessary for that. It truly is, too. And Forum Credit Union has some tips and guidance to help you with this. Steps like packing your pantry with food that lasts longer, right? Not your fridge with food that can spoil. Reducing your number of recurring subscription services for music and movies. And refinancing higher interest debt can all make a big difference in your monthly spending. For more tips and to find helpful tools and resources, shout out to my man Kevin and the gang, always doing a great job. But you can find it by doing this. Visit Forum's financial readiness page at forumcu.com today.
Hey fans, this is Pacers radio play-by-play broadcaster Mark Ward.
And Kristen Airy of Fox Sports Indiana.
Although we're currently on the sidelines, all of us at Pacers Sports and Entertainment want to ensure that all of us stay in the game.
That's why we're encouraging everyone to be safe and be healthy.
During this timeout, make sure to check out the Pacers app and social media accounts for activities for fans of all ages.
There's trivia on Tuesdays and Thursdays, along with updates from players and fans.
It won't be long before we're back in the field.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Right now at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, buy 3 tires, get 1 free. No credit needed financing options available. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
More people are getting over coronavirus. From the WIBC Newsroom, I'm Chris Davis with your coronavirus update. State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box.
We've seen the number of people who have been discharged grow from 68 to 80%.
She says the number of people testing positive has still been steady. That's why she says the state can never have enough personal protective equipment like gowns and gloves. There's no need to volunteer for the new IU Fairbanks School of Public Health testing.
The participants, as we mentioned, were randomly selected, making sure that this is a scientific study that accurately reflects the demographics of our state.
The new Paycheck Protection Program is set up to help some of the small businesses that did not get approved before, says Senator Mike Braun.
The guidance and the rules are really earmarked to help the smallest of the small.
He says any next steps by the federal government must be carefully considered because of the amount Congress has added to the national debt. You've got another update coming up. From the WIBC Newsroom, I'm Chris Davis.
The Pacers and Raptors clash from earlier this season. Monday night at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
1, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mike Wells, top of the hour. Holy hell, I just knocked my JMV Sucks logo off here. Don't do that. Jeanette Biddle writes this: the meat of the potatoes last night of the NFL draft. That was better than a Super Bowl commercial. JMV, at what point does Ballard's obsession with drafting down to get more picks over taking a high-quality playmaker backfire on him and Jim Irsay's eyes? I wish his would focus more on liking them players or them picks. Steve in San Antonio, not anytime soon. I will tell you that. And I will also tell you this. There's a part of me that does understand the philosophy. If you get an incredibly rich, incredibly over the value of your 34 opportunity to move back, especially when you think about what might be next year. I mean, just kind of, covering your own ass a little bit here, right? I mean, what happens if you guys want a really, really bad take here? What happens next year if things don't work out? What happens if Phillip Rivers is washed and it is going to be 1 year? What happens then? then you're going to want to find the quarterback of the future. And you still probably will want to find a quarterback, but then you will be absolutely in a position, swimming in disappointment, to find the quarterback of the future, the franchise now. And I can kind of understand if the philosophy is you're going to have a rich deal where you can trade out a 34 and also kind of pad what might be next year if you're attempting to maneuver into a position if you need to. I mean, listen, I do. I understand all of that, but I'm thinking more in the right now. You believe this guy is legit at quarterback and can recapture what once was. Are you going to do with this group? Give him as much as possible. And you have that opportunity with 34 and 44 here. Really, with 34, 44, and 75, you have that opportunity. So I do. That part I get. I do understand it completely. I mean, there are a lot of different ways you can look at it. Yeah, I know a lot of us just kind of look at trading down and go, oh, well, great. I sat here all day and ain't going to trade down. What a bummer. That stinks. And trade for picks next year. Who cares? And there's, a science to it, to them. But to me, you got an opportunity, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, to go out there and get you a couple of dudes here in the second round. Go out and get a couple of dudes that are ready to go right now. That can give you a little bit of separation that you've been lacking for years at that position. Go and do it right now. John Dishauer says this: if it doesn't work out, they're going to be positioned for a top pick next year. I'm not a fan of the Rivers signing. Yeah, and that's part of what I'm talking about here. That will be swimming in disappointment, an opportunity for them to find that franchise quarterback, and that's going to stink, and nobody around here is going to like it, and that means 1 of 4 into the postseason. For your general manager, that means 1 of 3 in the postseason. For your head coach, yeah. JMV, keep both 34 and 44. The talent is there. We need to stop worrying about getting more picks for those 2 selections. Take Michael Pittman Jr. and either Josh Jones or Ezra Cleveland, maybe even Cole Kmet. Preach to us. I'm trying. I am keeping the preach. I wouldn't say preach to you. I'm talking to you. I'm not trying to preach anything to you. I'm just trying to get across my opinion of the circumstances as they are right now. I'm not going to preach to you. You don't need preach to. I wouldn't do that. JMV, after seeing 2 players available at 13, Ballard traded for Buckner. It made me wonder if we should have kept that pick and spent money elsewhere. Wirfs would have been a great left tackle to replace Costanzo. Kinlaw sounds like a great player for the defensive line. P.S. I'm still not a fan of trading down last year. We should have taken a player the Redskins drafted. I believe that was Montez Sweat a year ago, wasn't it, David, on the east side? Exactly. Thank you. It's from John Matthews. JMV, trash take. Lynch fleeced the Colts. Lynch traded up and got his wide receiver. Ballard has had Chester Rogers on the roster for 3 years. No question who's a better general manager. League rules favor offense. Ballard is 0 for 3 in secondary picks. Draft a safety over a wide receiver. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that. Yeah, I don't have a trash opinion. Maybe in your eyes I have a trash opinion. I mean, look, Kinlaw is going to be cheaper, going to have more years, but you don't know if Kinlaw is ready-made. I mean, and I do agree with you about offense because John Lynch probably found out, and who knows, they may find out that, just drafting a wide receiver, replenishing at that position is not going to be enough because maybe they don't have the right quarterback. Yeah, I agree. With teams like Kansas City that can get up and down the field. I mean, hell, we saw what took Kansas City out of their routine of normalcy, right? We saw it. It was dinging up the quarterback. So I understand the philosophy of Chris right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm still fine with them trading out of 13. But you got to get what is necessary right now. And I will also say this. I don't view Green Bay going out and drafting Jordan Love and the Colts not trading up as down the road, if Love turns out to be a good quarterback, being something, everybody to be damned around here. I don't know. You might be able to blame them. It's kind of me like this. It's like when Larry Bird traded for George Hill and it was Kawhi Leonard because San Antonio wanted Kawhi Leonard, but the Pacers and Bird, they wanted George Hill at the time. I mean, they didn't have any thought about drafting Kawhi Leonard. You can blame them for that. I never blamed them for the actual trade because at the moment, that's what they wanted to do to make that team, which was ready-made, better. But you can still look at it as, well, wait a minute. If he wasn't even on their board, if he wasn't even going to be a draft selection there, what the hell are they looking at? You can't say that. You can say that about this Colts team if Love does turn into something, but not moving up and taking a shot at him if he turns into something further down the road. Yeah, I'm not going to be worried about that. I'm not going to look at hindsight as 2020 being a negative. I'm just not. I know others will. I'm just not going to be one. Now, 34 and 44, I'll think otherwise coming up later on tonight. All right, quick break and we'll come back. If you're on YouTube Live, thank you very much for being a part. There's Brad. Trying to get into the conversation here. I just got a My Graffiti Playground saying, quote, your mama wears army boots. That's a spirited conversation going on right there. All right, quick one, and we'll come back. We're there, as I mentioned, YouTube Live at JMV 1070. You can find me via email at jmv@1070thefan.com and as well, 239-1070. Time for your calls. Bob Lovell, bottom of the four. Pat Sullivan in here at 5:30. Anything goes at 6. And our friend Mike Wells of ESPN.com set to join us. Other side next.
Bet live on sports today. Yep, you heard that right. I'm Mike Wells, and trust me, you can bet live on sports happening right now at BetRivers.com. They might not be your standard sports, but you should check out live betting on table tennis and soccer action. You can live stream the matches, have a cold beverage, put your feet up, and bet while you watch them. Give it a try. Go to BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. That's 1-800-994-8448.
Running a business, you've relied on the big machine to keep your internet and voice services worry-free. But one day, your voice and internet stop working, costing you customers by the minute. So you place a call to the big machine, and you hear, hold the line. After several transfers and hearing,
oh, I am sorry, but you have the wrong department. Hold, please.
You realize you're with the wrong company. You call Teltec.
This is Teltec owner Troy Brasseau. At Teltec, we take great pride in providing professional, hands-on support. Established businesses like Whole Wall Heating and Air and Carson Agency continue to experience the benefits of Teltec's customer care.
If you're a business of 10 to 200 employees or more, Teltec invites you to put an end to your reliance on the big machine and contact Teltec for a free review today. 317-390-8585 and click on simple123.biz. That's simple123.biz. Teltec.
Have you added up the total amount of credit card debt you owe? Don't be afraid to find out, because it can all go away with a phone call to Golden Oak Lending.
Imagine the feeling of freedom when you owe nothing on credit cards. It can happen. This is James Hawkins at Golden Oak Lending. The equity in your home has risen and rates have fallen. That means you can get money to pay off those credit cards.
Call us for a free mortgage checkup today. Our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. Plus, you'll make no payments for 2 months.
No time to call? Apply online 24/7 at goldenoaklending.com with our secure Zipline mortgage.
Apply from the comfort and safety of your home or call 317-706-GOLD. That's 706-GOLD.
If we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, regulated by the Indiana Department of Financial Institutions.
Indy's Downtown Steakhouse, Prime 47, brings you a great way to experience a spectacular evening of fine food and fine beverages for carryout or delivery. Prime 47 is offering a select number of carryout menu items Wednesday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. through the month of April. Ask about special dinners for two, along with carryout liquor, wine, and beer options. Prime 47 has partnered with Hoosier Connection Limousine for complimentary delivery. Call 317-624-0720 or email Elizabeth at prime47.com.
At Plumbing Heating Paramedics, we want to help the community any way we can through this difficult time. We have a lot of trucks and a willing team to do anything we can to help. If you're elderly and needing groceries or supplies, please call us. Our company will be running essential emergency calls, but protecting our team and customers is the most important thing right now. We continue to pray for our country, cities, family, and friends. Let's stick together, and we will get through this. From Plumbing Heating Paramedics, God bless.
This is Indy Sports Center.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2,
W298BV, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, join me on Monday. The Colts are going to draft tonight. They're going to draft Saturday. Who the hell knows who they're going to get, but I know this. We're going to talk about it on Monday. Join me on Monday as we recap the draft.
The Ride with JMV.
There's a kid in my class that got a boner at PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It was really embarrassing, so this song goes out to him.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Mike Wells on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bet Rivers.
All right. Slow jammery entry on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Mike Wells, give it to us in a little New Jack swing.
Yes, me and my boy Keith Sweat. Let's make it last. Ooh, last forever, ever. Don't let our love in.
That sounds good right there.
Tell me you love me. Ooh, so right. Want me. Never ever leave me.
Hey man, how do you think our guy Keith Sweat? You think he was swinging for the fences on the POON back in the day, wasn't he?
Oh my! Yeah.
Can you imagine? Man. You think he was just buried? You think in like 1988 he was just buried in it, wasn't he?
Oh yes. Even though I always felt like, as much as I love Keith Sweat, I always felt like he sounded like a billy goat when he sang, though, man. I always felt like he sang like a billy goat.
Make It Last Forever, Keith Sweat right there. I think that's his debut self-titled album from 1987. And,
yes.
Mike Wells, slow jammery entry on this Colts draft, finally, second round Friday. So what are you going to think? You're going to be holed up in your joint watching this coming up later on tonight, and certainly there should be some sparks. 34-44, what's going to be the logical trade-out scenario that we're likely going to see Chris Ballard do tonight?
You know what? Man, I've been sitting here trying to rack my brain. What's more likely to happen, moving from 34 or 44? I think if I were a betting man, I would say him moving from 44 to 34 would be more likely. Hey, Dave Markham, man. Dave Markham, Brownsburg police officer. I can sing, brother. Do not tell me to stop singing, man. All right, got that? We got our boy Kyle tweeting me, man.
I see it coming. It's coming at us right now. I see it.
Oh my goodness, they're killing me, man. Hey, y'all need to stop killing me on my singing. I know I can't sing. That's the whole point. We gotta have fun. I have no problem sounding like a jackass on the radio trying to serenade to all you listeners. It is all good in this downtime of what's going on in the country.
It is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Sit back and relax and enjoy it, fellas.
Mike, I'm going to tell you what. This is never going to happen. This is completely out of character. And I don't know why I'm saying it, but I have a bet here with Kyle. And I don't like the flavor black cherry. I don't mind a White Claw. I'll do that, but I don't like the flavor black cherry. But I'm going to drink a 6-pack of black cherry White Claw on Monday if Chris Ballard goes 34-44 and drafts, stays right there, yet drafts back-to-back wide receivers. And let me say this, and I know it's not going to happen, but I'm hoping to be drunk on the air. I guess I can get drunk on a 6-pack of White Claw, right? I'm not sure. Is that true?
No. Or
is that like Kool-Aid?
So. That's like Kool-Aid. All I know is only my female friends, with the exception of Kyle, drink White Claw. So you were not going to get drunk. Well, that's like, hey, drinking White Claw, Jay, is like drinking Boone's Farm from back in the day. That's what our boy Kyle is drinking.
I shouldn't have done that, man. I should have gone the Boone's Farm route. But anyway, that's the bet. Because Mike, I mean, deep down inside, I believe that's what this team needs to do at 34 and 44. Because you're in this incredible situation where there is a high level of can help you right now talent. You know, a couple of months in this draft after you clearly want to win right now with a 38-year-old, $25 million quarterback, and then you look at the depth chart, which is not any good whatsoever. You and I both know that at that position. Why not go against the grain, as you did with Phillip Rivers, and against the plan, and then draft a couple of wide receivers in the second round that you know, that you believe can help you and be productive this year?
You know, that's a great question, Jay. And you're seeing these rumors about the Colts already trying to move back in the draft. And again, Chris Ballard, his entire football staff, they know more than you and I and the rest of the, you know, and the fan base. But if you want to win, why continue? Because the odds of having a guy that's going to step in and contribute right away, in my opinion, the odds reduce the further down in the draft
question.
You go.
Yes. Yep.
It reduces the, you know, as the draft goes on. So why continue to keep, you know, trying to stockpile draft picks? Because it's at the point now for Chris Ballard where these draft picks that he's made, these guys got to find a way to come in and contribute. They have to do something out there on the football field because, you know, the fan base is only going to sit there and handle the whole rebuilding and trying to find the right pieces going forward for so much longer.
So Mike Wells of ESPN.com on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I completely agree with that. And here's my other thought on it is in the past, we're all kind of used to, you know, you draft guys later and then, you know, a guy like Andrew Luck makes dudes better. Or certainly Peyton Manning, me or you could play wide receiver, and that guy would have made us better. That's just not the case right now. Phillip Rivers needs help from his teammates as much as his teammates need help from Phillip Rivers on this. So you're truly, to me, negligent if you don't take advantage of the spot that you're in tonight.
Yeah, no, they are, because it's bad. I mean, I don't, and I agree with the DeForest Buckner trade. Hey,
I do too.
You know,
I'm fine with that. Yes, yes.
The kid is still in this. He's in a prime. Gave him a nice deal. He's gotten sacks. He's going to help out the defensive line, an area that Chris Ballard always talks about wanting to you can never have too many players, but it's been blatantly obvious the need for wide receivers. And, I mean, you're bringing back guys like Marcus Johnson and stuff like that. You're hoping that Paris Campbell can stay healthy. T.Y. Hilton is going to be, 31 years old next season? He's not getting any younger, and his body started to break down on him last year. So why not get some pieces that could help out right now and also still be there going forward in the future for the Colts?
And I don't understand why they don't. And they'll tell you they take it seriously because I've asked Chris before, and they take it seriously. Devin Funchess was taking it seriously. Second-round pick with Paris Campbell taking it seriously. But over the past it hasn't worked seriously. It seriously hasn't worked with that position. And I mean, to me, that is what you absolutely have to address with a couple of guys. I mean, you're really fortunate that, Mike, in this draft, that you can go, have 6 guys off the board at that position and still have guys that can help you and be productive right away. So take advantage of that good fortune while also staying true to what you believe in, and that is building with the defensive line and DeForest Buckner and trading 13. That's why I thought if you look back at that, hopefully that turns out to be for Chris genius because you get the guy that you want up front, but you also have the capability of drafting a couple of guys that you need at wide receiver in that second round. So hopefully it works out that way. I'm just not sure that's what the Colts are going to be thinking tonight.
Yeah, hey, listen, you might need to have a special show tomorrow.
Oh, man.
If Chris Ballard were to trade out of, 34 or potentially both picks in there, I don't think he would trade out both picks in the second round, but if he drops back from 34, you might need to have a special show tomorrow because the fan base is going to be pissed off. I can imagine if that were to happen. And if Ballard, if it works out, like I told some people last night, if Ballard was going to be able to trade back into the first round and essentially you get 2 first-round picks in DeForest Buckner and then another guy, you can go. I would say make him the front runner for the executive of the year if he done that last night. Obviously, it did not happen. Now it's like, all right, what's Chris Ballard going to do to make this team better, not only for the future, but make them better next season? When you look at, you have a 38-year-old quarterback and you have a defense, which I believe will be significantly better next season. Howard, what are you going to do to take that next step to get back into the playoffs, which means likely trying to win the AFC South?
Yeah, listen, I completely agree with you right now. And the problem you're going to have, I wonder who's going to try to get in front of them tonight too. And regardless of what happens, what might be taken in front of them tonight, wide receiver wise, I'm guessing it's going to be Mims. You think that's going to be the first player off the board in the second round?
Who, Mims?
Yeah,
I'm thinking Trey Higgins, the wide receiver from Clemson. I think I think when you look at it, I think Higgins, Pittman, and Mims are the top three receivers on the board right now. I think those are the top three players available, and all three are talented players. All three of those guys could probably take will have at least be no worse than a number 3 wide receiver for a team next year.
All right, Mike Wells joins us. First thing, I want to hear what you think the philosophy tonight should be, and then I want to hear your thoughts on what you think the picks are going to be, or what the Colts might do. So start right there. What do you think the philosophy tonight, player-wise, should be for Ballard and company?
If I'm Chris Ballard, I'm going. I like your idea, wide receiver. I'm not sure I would do it. But I would use wide receiver 34 definitely, and then I would look either quarterback or depending on who's on the board still at 44, quarterback or offensive line, because the depth at the offensive line is in question for the Colts right now. I mean, after losing Josh Andrews and Joe Haeg to free agency, we know about the starting five. Starting five is a hell of a unit, one of the best in the NFL, but Costanzo is essentially nobody knows how much longer Costanzo is going to play. He's in his 30s, and you need to have some backups because the Colts were very fortunate last season by not having to deal with many injuries. I know Ryan Kelly left the game or so at some point, but you want to have guys that can step in and the O-line keeps on moving on if something were to happen injury-wise.
Yeah, listen, can you not find a backup offensive lineman you think that can help with 122 overall, somebody that's essentially the same as or close to Joe Haeg? I mean, that shouldn't be that hard to find, should it?
Well, you hope so. You hope so. I mean, depending on the what type of depth is on the O-line. What about here, let me ask you this. Do they need with the addition of Trey Burton, who obviously has some injury problems, and I'll tell you this. I tweeted about Burton being misdiagnosed, saying he was misdiagnosed in Chicago. And Chicago fans and media members have gone all in on Trey Burton. They are not buying that notion. So with that said, and his injury problems last season, do you draft a tight end?
I think here's what I would do. I think you do unless you are fortunate enough or you like Chase Claypool. And then I think that you have a weapon, a Swiss Army knife sort for Frank Reich to utilize. And then maybe you take care of both there to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, always going to play wide receiver. I guess he would, but you can move him around the field if it's Claypool. If not Claypool, then yeah. So my thought is wide receiver, tight end was my thinking all along. But that's without Claypool. Without Claypool also is Michael Pittman Jr. And then, maybe best on the board that's available at 44 at wide receiver. At this point, I mean, hell, I don't even know who that's going to end up being. So, I mean, it could be a variety. I mean, to your guy, T. Higgins could be available at 44 if there's a slide tonight. So who knows?
Yeah. What about D-line? You think they need to get some more edge rushers?
I'll puke all over myself if that's one of these second-round picks. I will barf all over everything tonight.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why? How come?
That's why you spent you're 13. You're solidified 13, and you brought in Sheldon. All right, concentrate on something that's a huge weakness right now.
And you got Banigou.
I mean, oh my God! How many guys have you drafted? I mean, what's Tyquan Lewis going to be? Is he going to hold a chandelier? Or what the hell's he doing? I mean, you got. I mean, you got all these guys you're addressing. I mean, you're not going to come up with, to me, the defensive line, you're in need of an edge rusher. There's no question. And hopefully Teray can be that. But he's going to be a spot that, if anything, this year. But I think that he has upside. And you're going to need somebody at some point sooner rather than later for Justin Houston. But the fact remains you're not going to find that here. You're not going to find that right now. But what you will find would be guys that can help you at your biggest position of need right now. Agree?
Yeah, so essentially you're going to be PO'd.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be mad. Yeah.
You're gonna be PO'd. Will you be pissed off if they take one wide receiver with the 2 second-round picks? Will you still, or you? Where's
you want to hear? You want to get ready. If they trade out at 34 and then draft a defensive lineman and don't draft again until 75, which they probably will have a draft pick before 75. That is, what did I call it yesterday? Whereas I want a sports arousal. If they go wide receiver, I'll have a weekend long sports arousal. That's be me. If they trade out and draft a defensive lineman with the 2s they have right now, I'll have a sports flaccidity all weekend long.
Oh my goodness!
All based on that.
Oh my goodness! Let's just say at 34 tonight. Let's say they stay 34, and that first pick is not a wide receiver,
and it's that kid from Iowa. Let's say it's the edge rusher from Iowa, Epinesa. Yeah. How do you pronounce his name, Kyle? I can never pronounce it because I don't want to hear it. But how do you pronounce it? What is it? Epinesa. Let's say they draft him and then trade out at 44. That is going to be sports flaccidity all weekend long for me.
I am going to be tweeting you, man. I'm not going to text you because text everybody doesn't get a chance to see. They don't see our conversation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet you off of it if that were to happen. Just to check on you, man, because I'm going to be worried about you, brother.
Now, I will listen. Thank you. And I will be okay. If they happen to go safety, I'll be okay with that. I mean, I will. If they help out the secondary in some sort, I think I'll be okay with that. For example, if they take a swing at Jeremy Chin from Fishers, I don't think I'd have any problem in that with what they're addressing and how they're trying to do it. But if they go defensive line and then trade out, and if they don't take wide receiver seriously, then that is going to lead to sports flaccidity.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. If they don't take a wide receiver tonight and they like you said, they move out, I'm going to be scratching my head because we saw what that wide receiver group looked like last year. And I know people are going to be tweeting saying they got Reese Fountain, Harris Campbell, blah, 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 blah. I don't, or like Eminem who said it 8 Mile, hippity hoo ha. All right, I'm not trying to hear that, man.
Not either. And because Mike, this has not just been a problem last year with what you're talking about. This was a problem the last time they made the postseason, last time they won a postseason game. It was a huge problem against a good team the last time they were in the divisional round. There was zero, and I mean zero separation, even with a functional T.Y. Hilton. No separation. That was a problem when they went to the postseason. And I know that they feel that they've addressed their needs, and they tried a year ago with Funches. It didn't work out. They drafted Paris Campbell, and that's great. But my thought is it hasn't worked, and you have the opportunity to make up some lost ground in that category tonight. I mean, you're so fortunate to be where you are with the depth at wide receiver. Take advantage of it and not try to be savvy and shifty and thinking down the road and try to be the smartest guy in the room. You know what I mean? Just do what should be in front of you. Perform the task. And as somebody told me earlier, you're drafting guys 4th round and beyond. You're drafting guys further down the road, guys. Draft dudes in the 2nd round, dudes that can help you in 2020.
Listen, I could have just saved you about 45 seconds there, Jay, by simply saying, when is the last time the Colts have had a legit number 2 wide receiver that has helped out T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah. I mean, listen, and I'm not going to say that he was and he is, but he was a savior of that position 2 years ago. Dontrell Inman was a savior at that position 2 years ago in October.
Yeah,
savior.
That was one of those desperate times.
Yes,
desperate measures.
Yes, and you just lucked out on that. I mean, you lucked out kind of the way they lucked out with Mike Adams back in the day.
Yeah,
and just all of a sudden his old ass fell in your lap and he was good still.
Exactly. So that and you don't want that though. You don't want to be banking on these over the free agent receivers who can't latch on with a team and stuff, man. I mean, essentially you're hoping on. That's like saying you hope that Dante Moncrief is going to pan out as a free agent wide receiver wherever he's at next. You don't want that. You want to bring in your guy, drafting your guy, and hopefully it pans out. Listen, I'm not going to fault Chris Ballard for Deion Kane. Deion Kane just simply didn't want to work. He was lazy. He was lazy, and it just blew up in his face, and it didn't work out and stuff. Who knows what the hell Reese Fountain's going to do? He balled out in training camp, but we've seen guys ball out in training camp and then come to regular season, it didn't work out. What's the kid's name? Deion Carter, Chris Carter's kid.
Oh,
he was
Duron, yes.
Yeah, Duron Carter. Yeah, he was balling in training camp that year, and all of a sudden he went into the fetal position starting in the preseason.
Hey, you know what, Mike? Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. My philosophy on this is, too, I think we're on the same page with this. I was fine with Chris not dabbling at all in free agency wide receiver. I mean, I thought maybe for your money, a Rashad Perryman, maybe that would have worked. But, Robbie Anderson and, ultimately the guys that were on that list, and even the guy that was here, last year in Devin Funchess, I was fine with them not reeling in any of those guys because you have this to really kind of lean back and take advantage of right now. And I think you do have opportunities in the second round to get, as I mentioned, to get some dudes that can help you right now at that position that has been a sore point since Chris has been here. It has.
No, you're right on that. Hey, but I know it's coming up on our break time, man. Yep. Can I shift off the draft for a second, man?
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you want.
I wanted to shed some tears last weekend, man. I had some flank. I had some flank steak. I was gonna put it on the green egg and make some carne asada tacos for my kids. I was all set. I went to anybody who doesn't have a green egg. You don't have to change the charcoal all the time because the charcoal lasts forever. But it was around the time to change the charcoal, and I went to pull out the firebox. It was cracked, man.
No.
I was broke. I wanted to cry, man. My firebox was cracked and not salvageable.
No.
So, of course, I'm like, all right, let me just go on to the website, see where a big green egg distributor has fireboxes.
Mark.
I saw that.
Mark in Brownsburg's got your back on that.
Oh, Mark in Brownsburg?
Mark in Brownsburg. Yeah, you're lucky. You live in Brownsburg, and our big green egg guy, Mark, lives in Brownsburg too. And Mark can have your back. We'll talk to Pat Sullivan, or Mark may be listening right now that can help you out with that very thing, lickety. I mean, right now.
Yes, I was like, I saw the price. I was like, wow. I was like heartbroken on what when it happened. I was like, man, that I had to pull out the propane grill, and I hate using propane. I say the propane grill for when I want to throw some hot dogs or hamburgers on the grill for the kids because that's nice and quick.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God! After 6 years, I had my first incident with it, and it melted my heart because as anybody who has realized, we love our big green eggs.
We
man.
do. We do. And I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll make sure Mark, I have his number. I don't have it with me right now, but I have it. And we'll get Mark in touch. Mark may be listening right. Mark better be listening right now because he's getting a buttload of love. Mark in Brownsburg, our big green egg rep, can help you out and can help you out immediately, which I sense you need.
Oh, I do, man. I do because I was like, I planned on trying to, weather permitting, I wanted to get some ribs on the grill this weekend. So, yeah, that was – I couldn't wait for Friday to talk about this with you because not many people, you and Big Joe and my good buddy Tom Maples, Patrick Rogers, a former caddy and Brownsburg golf coach, are my three favorite big green egg guys. I talk about food and the green egg with you three more than with anybody else.
Well, I'm on that, and Pat's coming in here next hour, so I'll make sure we get in touch with Mark and make sure we fix your what box? Your firebox? What is it?
Firebox.
Your hot box?
Hey, listen.
I had to fix that back in 1993 myself, yes.
Hey, listen. All I know is, you're gonna be a hot head tonight if the Indianapolis Colts do not address that wide receiver position.
It is. Hey, by the way, tomorrow night, another JMV takeover, B105.7, the best of the 90s tomorrow night.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna put a thing on my calendar on my phone because I'm gonna call in because we'll be waiting for Chris Ballard and Frank Wright to talk to us once the draft concludes. Who knows when that'll happen tomorrow night?
I wonder when that'll be. I wonder if I can get like Chris or Frank to call in and introduce a song. What do you think? Like Hot Stepper? You think Chris will intro Hot Stepper tomorrow night?
Hey, something tells me that Ballard will be pretty. Ballard may be pretty hot at you if you go off on him for not taking wide receivers tonight.
Man, just listen. We'll see, Mike. I have been right about this wide receiver position for 3 years, though. I don't think I've been wrong.
I'm with you. I am with you on that. It's funny because every year they brought in free agents, and the reporters from the teams that the players played there prior, they all said, "Oh my God, what are the Colts thinking of trying to get this guy?" Whether it was Funchess, Ryan Grant, Hakeem Nicks, Darius Hayward-Bay. I mean, the list goes on and on where they were trying to bring in a receiver that would go with T.Y. Hilton, and it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, and listen, in closing with all this, too, and by the way, Mark, Big Green Egg, might need some help right now, and we'll make sure that Mark gets in touch with you. But in closing, I do understand. I don't sit here and just throw stuff for the sake of throwing stuff, but I do understand that trading back, you can get some picks, and maybe you get picks in 2021 to kind of have your back in case this whole Rivers thing doesn't work out, and then you need a little extra ammunition, a little extra something to try to sweeten the deal to get the quarterback, your franchise quarterback of the future. I mean, that's the worst case scenario right now. But I just think you sit in a place where you believe in the 38-year-old you're bringing in. So back that up by doing something you haven't done, and it's finally putting a stamp, if you will, on that wide receiver position because he needs, I think, a similar amount of help as they're going to need right now. And, he's getting the offensive line that he says he didn't have a year ago and with the Chargers. So I just think now's the time. You're fortunate with the draft the way that it is at that position.
No, you are. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. Again, if there's no wide receiver, taking a 34, or they trade back at 34, I'll be tweeting you tonight to make sure you're doing all right.
All right, and I'll send Mark your way with the Big Green Egg, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, listen, I don't want you having to sip on Kyle's White Claw fruity beverage on Monday either, man, because like I said, that is definitely a drink that let's just say you would want to drink.
Yeah, I don't get drunk easy. So I'd be like Todd Meyer texted me yesterday and goes, "Well, you're going to have to get an Uber home." I said, "Well, I'll just get my wife to take me home or something." So I know they'd be worried about that, but yeah. I mean, I'm all man. I mean, that stuff's not good. You've heard me before and been with me before. I drink bourbon and stuff on the air, and it just bounces right off me, man. Ricochets.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna be like, man, am I drinking? Where's my umbrella in this White Claw? That's what you're gonna be saying.
I know
you have to. But leave it to our boy Kyle. Don't want to drink that stuff. Kyle, I love you. That's what you get. That's what you get for making fun of my singing. I'm out, Jay. Talk to you later, brother.
Yeah, Mike Wells of ESPN.com. Hey, Mark, Big Green Egg, shout me out here. We have yet still a spirited debate going on. When I get on YouTube Live, okay, blah, 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 I know we got something special working there. Well done. Well done. You guys keep it going. Lewis Hudson and Larry Brown, TJ Joe. I like the fact you guys are in there, too. Also, do some phones. We guys haven't taken phone calls yet. Let's do that at 239-1070. Email address to JMV at 1070thefan.com. I mentioned YouTube Live for what is a debate, what is a conversation, and a lot of fun. Some making fun of me. It's all good on this second night, draft night, Friday night here in Central Indiana. Mike Greenberg of ESPN joined us earlier. That was Mike Wells of ESPN.com. Hashtag AskPat coming up at 5:30. Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Bob Lovell's going to join us, and your calls about the draft. Do you agree or disagree with what I've talked about? Listen, if nothing else, I think I have clearly and succinctly stated my position. What say you? 239-1070. Back with you next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Jeff Dickerson covering the Bears for a long time. Trey Burton.
It's a no-risk move for the Colts. His signing was one of the worst the Bears have had. If the Bears felt they were better off keeping him around, he'd still be a Bear. To me, it's very telling when a team says we're better off paying a guy to go away.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings 7 till 10. Only on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
People evacuated from the building while it undergoes black mold removal and
turn that off.
$15 million in repairs. Officials
turn it off. Yeah, I saw it. Well, you hired the contractor. You tell me what happened. So you're saying we cut corners?
Imagine if students on your campus were left out in the cold because somewhere someone cut corners. Building owners and customers are often kept in the dark about the risks of poorly installed mechanical insulation. The Heat and Frost Insulators Local 18 Code of Workmanship doesn't allow anything below specification. The Insulation Contractors Association of Indianapolis ensures your job is done right, every project, every time. Learn more at insulators18.org. The Brothers and Sisters of Energy Efficiency, insulating you from escalating costs.
We are Local 18!
Hey, it's John for Indiana's best, Andy Moore Toyota. It's in Avon, 5 miles west of 465 on US 36. All right, here's how you know you got the best. Well, Ben Mendoza is the best at what he does. Staff over there, fantastic. And let's say you're hesitant and you want to go contactless. Given the circumstances we're in right now, they understand that. So do I. So here's what you can do. AndyMooreToyota.com. You will see the entire selection and everything from viewing and information right there at your fingertips. Contactless for your new ride. Whatever you're looking for, they're going to tell you all about it. You're going to see it from every conceivable angle. They make it easy for you. AndyMooreToyota.com. Now, also, if you want to head out to Avon and get the job done yourself, they're making sure that everything's clean for you. They're making sure that everything is under CDC-recommended guidelines of cleanliness and making sure that they're testing their employees on a daily basis. So not only does that give you something that you trust from somebody that you've trusted for so many years with the best car buying experience, gives you peace of mind with Indiana's best. Andy Moore Toyota in Avon. AndyMooreToyota.com. Contactless. But tell Ben Mendoza I sent you 5 miles west of 465 on US 36.
This corona culture we're living in is just another example of how life can throw some unexpected challenges at you. This is Dan Dockich. When you're faced with difficult times, it's always comforting to have a professional on your side who actually cares about you as a person. If you or someone you know experienced an accident as a driver, passenger, rider, or pedestrian, keep in mind what my guy, Randy Sevenish and Sevenish Law recommends during these challenging financial times. Do not try to negotiate with the insurance company yourself, thinking you are saving money, and be wary of discount lawyers. A quick payday may not be best for you. Do not leave money on the table. It's your money. Even though some courts are closed right now, Randy is still here for you. He's able to meet with you and still take the next negotiation steps for resolution. Do not hesitate to take on the insurance giants during these tough times. Call Sevenish Law, the fierce protectors of the injured, where you're treated like a person, not just a case number. 317-636-7777 and SevenishLaw.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates are sitting near historic low levels, and we are saving homeowners hundreds of dollars a month on a refinance. We're also getting homeowners cash out so they can pay off the credit cards, make home improvements, or just stick the money in the bank for uncertain times. There's a lot of volatility in the mortgage market, and rates are changing daily. Start saving now with our 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Sports with Dan Dockich.
SVP joins us. I want to go to the senior night.
It's 1 a.m. I'm sitting in this conference room with our staff, and I said, we got to figure out a way to acknowledge the athlete whose season just ended. And there's a gal named Megan Judge, and her idea was the hashtag senior night. And we just started soliciting. Everybody's got a story, and they're all proud of their kids. And we got to kind of tell some of those stories on SportsCenter. And here's the coolest thing I've done since I've been at ESPN.
Dan Dockich, weekdays, noon till 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What is this Jim Aiello tweet from Indy Star? Shout out to the Indy Star. Just had one league source speculate Colts could come away with 2 wide receivers tonight. Hard to see Ballard abandoning his build the trenches mantra. But Colts fans would be stoked for sure. Yeah, I guess. But listen, I am advocating 34 and 44 here. So this is at the fork in the road and going the absolute different direction here. I mean, this is not just getting away from the path of the mantra of building through the trend. This is like, what? 34 and 44? That's what you're going to put into it? Bobby Mack sends me this. I'll be tweeting at you tonight, too. If the wide receiver gets passed, I have the Lysol. Yeah, I'm probably going to be huffing some Lysol later on tonight. Is that what stupid people are doing right now? What are they doing with Lysol and Clorox? Huh? Oh, that is. I'm sorry. JMV, ask Wells if rusted silo barbecue is worth stopping. Cuba Jackson. I will do that. Brad Douglas says the Colts need to trade Hooker for OBJ and draft Delpit. Why in the world would Cleveland take Malik Hooker for OBJ? You get about a 4th rounder out of Malik Hooker, maybe. You may not get that. They may have tried and failed. Listen, here's the other part about that, too. If you end up trading Malik Hooker, all you do is just kind of open up a position that right now at least is filled defensively. So if you want to get somebody, I am not against them drafting a defensive back. A safety, if you want to do it, do it. Not a 34 or 44, but if you want to do it, do it. But yeah, just the Malik Hooker stuff never made any sense 2 ways for me. One would be, all right, so what are you going to get? You're going to trade somebody that, that you plan on right now being there and being in that secondary. You're going to open up a gap and trade for a 4th rounder at best? That doesn't make any sense. YouTube Live, if you guys want to jump in there in the conversation. That's a good one. Right now they're talking about T. Higgins. We got T. Higgins and some Cincinnati Bengals talk. You guys going to start talking about that guy was taken to dump last night in Mike Vrabel's bathroom? JMV, my prediction is they draft wide receiver at 34 and trade out of 44. I can see them trading out of 34, getting another pick before 44. And then drafting I can see them drafting a defensive lineman and then trade it out of 44, and then I'm just going to log off. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He's a friend of the show. He's got back-to-back shows tonight, tomorrow night. You can hear it downstairs, 93 WIBC. I think is your show on up here, too, at that time?
I believe so, but I probably am the last person you want to ask, to be honest.
right after me. I know. Me too. I feel the same way. I do.
I just, I know I'm on from 9:30 until midnight around the state. Some people take it at 10. Some people take it at 9:30. I try not to get caught up in that, John.
All right. So what's going on tonight? You talking draft with all of us draft experts? I'm assuming you're going to have me on at some point, right? To give you my vast knowledge of drafting and being in a draft room, right?
I'm absolutely going to have you on tomorrow night. I think the plan tonight is we're going to talk a little bit of draft. I'm going to talk with a guy named Shannon Griffith, who used to be the football coach at Manchester University up in the northern part of the state, who is a COVID-19 survivor.
Wow.
He is going to join me, and we're going to talk about that. And this is a guy who has, now he's not very old. He's battled through it, and we're going to talk about his story. We're going to get Kyle Nedriff on tomorrow night and talk about the story he did about the sectional tournament and the unfortunate deaths of some very notable people who were there. And so we're going to try to cover some football and some topical news about the COVID-19 and those kinds of things. And then when you join, I'm ready for anything.
Well, here's what I want you to do tonight. All right, when you're on there tonight, because I'm not going to have a spot in the rotation tonight, and you're going to be hosting the show. If the Colts draft a defensive lineman at 34 and trade out a 44, I want you to be yelling at some folks around here, okay?
Okay.
On behalf of me.
No, I will. Look, I take my marching orders from you. You know that. So, yeah. You want me to yell at him, I'll yell at him.
Yes, you do. Oh, man. I will say one thing about last night, about watching the draft last night, that it was the first sense of sports normalcy that we have had in over a month. And for that matter, even if it was, there wasn't a lot of compelling circumstances last night, it gave you that sense of normalcy, and that part felt good.
Well, I think you're right. I think the other part is it's so theatrical and such a big production, the way it's been done in the past. It's kind of neat to see everybody become real and see everybody just at their homes reacting.
Agreed.
At their homes with their families and doing things. You know, the families are there. I actually think it's really kind of neat to see how they did it this time around. So, yeah, I think it was good, and it'll be real interesting to see how it continues. We all know what live events are about. You and I are in the live event business, so things happen, technologically speaking, and so you just need to be ready for anything.
So Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talks, coming straight at you later on tonight with all you need to know. We in fact have you covered. I mean, right here. They got the draft coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. The last word right after me, and I do anything goes. And then Bob after the draft. And, I mean, it just goes on and on. On and on. Talk about the normalcy. We've been giving them normalcy here. In a world in which we don't have it, at least we here, you and others being a part of this. And I know that it makes a lot of people feel good. Me sitting here whining about wide receiver is absolutely normal circumstances. It's been normal for 3 years. I know.
It's gratifying for you, me, Jeff, and Joe, and Dan, and others, and Kevin, and Kurt Kevin, you know, their show, everyone who's on the air on our stations, because, look, people have a lot of choices now, and they have a lot of things that they can do, and for people to take the time to welcome us in their homes, in their cars, online, on their phone, whatever, it is really nice. And I think you and I are of the same opinion. I mean, our jobs have gotten a little bit more important, to be honest, right now, than I think they normally are. Now we really have a greater responsibility to make sure that we work as hard as we can to bring them compelling content and reasons they want to listen. Now is when you are earning those mega dollars that you get paid, trying to figure out at this particular, because it's hard. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. You know, I host a show that is literally a post-game call-in show, and there are no games. So, you know, I don't have it easy. But then again, I get paid to talk about sports, so I don't think there's any reason neither one of us should complain.
Well, and here's the thing, too. I've said this all along, Bob, and you know this even more so than I do. We're public servants first and foremost here. I mean, we are. We're servants of the public, and that's what I've tried to do this entire time. You know, it's still have content and, you know, be the normal show that you are accustomed to either liking or just hating my guts from 3 until 6, whatever the case might be, but also, you know, with local business shout-outs and, you know, making sure that people know that we're there for them has been incredibly important, and that being a public servant is always our job one.
Well, it really is, and I think the sooner people understand when you get in our business to recognize that we depend upon the listeners. That's number one. Number two, we can't do it without the people who take the time and the effort and the money to become advertisers and sponsors of the things we do. And thirdly, in my case, you know, I'm nothing without my affiliated stations around the state. So I worry about them. They're in small towns. I know they're being impacted greatly, and I'm just fortunate that I have nearly 50 stations that think enough of the product we put out could put us on the airways. So, look, we're fortunate, we're lucky, and we owe a lot of people for the opportunities we both have.
It's Bob Lovell right there, and he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You can catch him later on tonight on Indiana Sports Talk. That's tonight and tomorrow night. And, well, you talk about those affiliates, too. I mean, everybody is feeling the pinch and the squeeze. I mean, everybody in this. So it's always important to bring what you bring every single Friday and Saturday night. We appreciate you for it.
All right, John, I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
What time are you going to call? About 11? I'm doing another takeover down the hall.
I'm in that 11 o'clock hour because we want to finish strong. You know what I'm saying? We're going to the closure. We're bringing in Goose Gossage. You know what I mean?
I know. So you like me better at that, or when you and Matt Surface host the normal show in the fall when I'm drunk? Is the drunk me better in the afternoon, or the just coming off a takeover me at 11 o'clock at night?
I think that a certain libation has a tendency to make you elevate your game.
Yeah, so I think you're right.
I'm willing to roll the dice.
All right. Always appreciate you, buddy. You stay healthy, and we'll be listening tonight and tomorrow night, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk, later on tonight. Hey, by the way, this is what I do want to address this. This is from Toby. I'm just saying I haven't been listening to JMV very long, but this is the first time I've seen political BS intro. No, it was just me mentioning a Lysol joke between me and Bobby. That was it. Me and listener and tweeter Bobby. That was it. I'm just saying that's what I'm going to end up doing to myself tonight if I get a defensive lineman at 34 and a trade back at 44. It is just a joke. Believe me, you're never going to get any long-winded, tired-ass political discussions here. You're never going to get that. Never. And hopefully that's one of the reasons why you dig it. I mean, listen, I've said this all along. You tune into folks because you know what you're going to get for those folks each and every time, and this is what you get. A little bit of fun, a heck of a lot of debate. So that's why we're never going to give you that. This never been me. I don't even pay attention. You know, that was an inside joke between Bobby. Actually, not inside. It was a Twitter joke, a very public joke between Bobby and I right there. If 34 is a D lineman and 44 is traded back, let's watch for that later on tonight. All right, I got some time. You guys, actually, when you think about it, I got about 45 for calls here. You guys dig this? 239-1070. Now, this is a little bit different than Anything Goes. Anything Goes, I think you guys all know what happens at 6 o'clock tonight. On a Friday night, it is Anything Goes. But coming up next, I want to get everybody's opinion on this draft, on this night, and your expectations. I have stated my opinion clearly. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And I know that most of you believe in Ballard, and I'm not suggesting that you should not. But do I have a point? If I don't, explain why. 239-1070. Email address, jmv at 1070thefan.com. Shout out to our friends on YouTube Live right now, doing it and going strong with the conversation. Well done. There's a thumbs up right there. Your calls on the other side, hashtag AskPat at 5:30. We got plenty of time right here on 93.5 and 107.5 FM, The Fan.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
John Clayton, the professor.
What did you make of the Colts offseason move?
I gave it an A- getting Phillip Rivers and then making the trade for DeForest Buckner, who arguably is the third best interior defensive lineman in football. I thought those moves were great. And the question is going to be, with that second pick in the second round, will they take a quarterback like Eason?
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings 7 till 10. Only on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Shut in or just hanging out. Nice thing about Kevin Bowen's podcast and the latest sports news is you can listen anytime, anywhere. 1075thefan.com or your inbox for free.
Denny Smith here. Great news. My friends at Sundown Gardens Nursery and Garden Shop are now open to the public. Come see their large selection of container trees and shrubs. Gorgeous tropicals and culinary herbs have arrived too. Annuals and perennial shipments are on the way. Sundown Gardens is a trusted name on the north side, now in a larger and easy-to-get-to location at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, just west of Grand Park in Westfield. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, Sundays 11 to 4. SundownGardens.com.
John here for Connecticut Water. Got a great idea for you because Joe, John, and Dennis, they know that you don't have the best water if you don't have Connecticut, and they know how they can help you. So if you want to do it this way, right, and you're hesitant about having somebody come in your house and give you that demonstration regarding your water at your place, Joe, John, and Dennis, they understand. So they're offering video and virtual presentations to show you the difference between the greatness that is Connecticut water and the water that you're dealing with that you want to upgrade right now. They can show it to you contactless in video and virtual form. So easy. Another innovative way that my friends at Connecticut are giving you the opportunity for the best water. Also this, all right, you're out searching for toilet paper and paper towels, and oftentimes it is a struggle to find bottled water. Never have that as an issue any longer, because the K5 in-home drinking water station combined with the Premier Series water softener gives you all that you need. No more bottled water, and if you combo them both up with the price tag, they'll give you a $1,200 rebate from Connecticut. That's Connecticut Water. 2 locations, Northeast Side, Castleton, South Side, US 31, and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app with everything you need from Connecticut and great daily discounts that you can check out. That's the Connecticut Water app. Otherwise, all the info you need online, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
More people are getting over coronavirus. From the WIBC Newsroom, I'm Chris Davis with your coronavirus update. State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box.
We've seen the number of people who have been discharged grow from 68 to 80%.
She says the number of people testing positive has still been steady. That's why she says the state can never have enough personal protective equipment like gowns and gloves. There's no need to volunteer for the new IU Fairbanks School of Public Health testing.
The participants, as we mentioned, were randomly selected, making sure that this is a scientific study that accurately reflects the demographics of our state.
The new Paycheck Protection Program is set up to help some of the small businesses that did not get approved before, says Senator Mike Braun.
The guidance and the rules are really earmarked to help the smallest of the small.
He says any next steps by the federal government must be carefully considered because of the amount Congress has added to the national debt. You've got another update coming up. From the WIBC Newsroom, I'm Chris Davis.
The Hoosiers take on Michigan in a classic college basketball game. Wednesday night at 7 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I'm the bullish prince.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, before we get to the calls here at 239-1070, Kyle, you mentioned this. Adam Schefter had a tweet that explained the second round this year as what exactly again? You remember what that was?
The deepest amount of talent in the last 25 years.
There you go.
He said it's going to have the same amount of starters come from the second round as we'll see in the first round.
So I'm going to get Epinesa and a trade down is what I'm going to get tonight, right? 34? I should listen. I shouldn't be. I'm not trying to do a rip job on the dude. All right, I'm just not. That's probably what we're going to end up getting. I go wide receiver, tight end. If you draft Claypool, I go wide receiver, safety. If somebody slides, I go wide receiver, safety, wide receiver. Get to where it counts. Get dudes, not guys. Guys come later. You'll find some guys, 4, 5, 6, and find some guys there. Get some dudes, some ready-made dudes now. Bobby's at 239-1070. Bobby, hello.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm great.
I got Lysol for you.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to have a long night. That's my expectation.
You know what? Unfortunately, I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you. I am with you, brother. I mean, we are 0 for wide receivers. I can't remember the last time we drafted one that panned out outside of T.Y. So, I mean, yeah, we got to get this thing right, man, because right now we just got, some guys. We have no dudes, like you said, and I'll be in the basement, man, but I know either 34 is going to get traded out or it's going to be something that doesn't have gloves and catches the ball, man. I'm telling you.
Well, and he has no doubt. Here's the other thing, too, Bobby, I think about. I do get it. I get the philosophy of, all right, to get more picks, and especially if you get something that's third-round quality of 2021, because you're thinking about, hey, what if this quarterback experiment, this quarterback decision doesn't work, and then you have to move forward and trying to draft one next year that's, and you want to move up, and you want to have a little stock in case you need to maneuver a little bit. I get that aspect, but I'd play for the now because they're fortunate in the second round to have the depth that they have, especially at that position. And it was just me wanting to see them take advantage of that.
Yeah, but this is year 4 now, right?
It is.
I mean, at what point do you say, hey, we got the roster, let's go get it? I mean, trading down is great when you're trying to, build a roster and get all your young guys, but I thought we were there.
Well, that's why you have that quarterback right. You have that quarterback right now because you assuredly, in your own opinion, felt that you were going to start 1-4 if you're Chris Ballard and making the postseason. You're going to be 1-4 in that category because you didn't have any belief, as you maybe once did in Brissett. I mean, that's why you paid a 38-year-old man $25 million because the expectation is to get to the postseason. You got to help that dude out too, Bobby. You got to help him out. He's 38. Needs some weapons. I mean, he needs help. He needs help like they believe that quarterback position needed help.
And he's definitely a statue. He's not going anywhere. He'll be right back there.
Not running. Bobby, you have a great night. Have fun in the basement. Thanks. Jeff talks Packers at 239-1070. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, JMV. How are you?
I'm great, Jeff. What's up?
Hey, I wanted to get your take on the whole Jordan Love thing. What do you think about with the Packers trading up to get him what seemed to be away from us, according to a lot of the talk that was going around that the Colts were really looking at Jordan Love? The Packers
I don't think – I doubted if the Colts had the deeply rooted interest that the national folks suggested they had. And I had said this. I didn't think the Colts would address the quarterback position until round number 4, maybe round 3, but certainly round number 4. I said that all along. So I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I just don't think that they were going to put that much stock. I think a lot was made up about how much love they had for Jordan Love in this case, and I don't blame them for not wanting to trade up and target for Jordan Love. Now, the Packers situation is going to be interesting because they can make up ground tonight if they get a wide receiver in there for Aaron Rodgers. But I think I think that they were concerned about Aaron Rodgers sooner rather than later stepping away from the game. And now I think that they have assured Aaron Rodgers is probably going to try to play until he's 70 now by virtue of that last night. That's my guess.
Right. I agree with you there. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I just wanted to get your take on it because I just couldn't figure out why they would. I mean, if we were that hard into it, I just couldn't see them with having Phillip Rivers and with Jacoby, behind him. Why would they want to even draft another quarterback?
Yeah, because conventional wisdom is these guys, both Phillip Rivers and Jacoby, are on one-year deals. They have 1 year remaining on deals, right? But keep this in mind. From the Colts standpoint, they believe in Rivers. That's why they brought him in. That's why they paid him $25 million. With their belief in Rivers, they also believe that he's going to provide them at that position a level of success to where they and he want to return next year. So this is not a 2-year deal written on a contract, but in their mind, it is a 2-year deal for them because they believe it's going to work out this year enough to where he and they would both like to have him return under center here next year.
Gotcha. Understand completely.
All right, Jeff, anything else?
No, JMV. You have a great weekend, man.
You too, Jeff. Thank you. All right, I got to hit a break. You guys on hold. I got Clay, Russell, and Jerry at 239-1070. I got room for anybody else. I've got about 25 minutes before Pat Sullivan joins us for all your draft questions. So let's deeply dive into that regarding the Colts because tonight's going to be a big night for them. And I'm not overstating this. And I know that they don't have a first-round pick, but tonight is a big night for Chris Ballard and his team. It is a big night. Considering where they believe themselves to be next year and the type of ammo they have to utilize, tonight is a big night. It is. We'll get to your calls if you're on hold and a lot more. YouTube Live, where you guys are having a spirited conversation per usual. I dig on that. We'll get to that at JMV1070 on Twitter. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. And we got another JMV takeover tomorrow night. I'm knocking around the idea of using YouTube Live down the hall if you guys want that. because I'm wanting your video and your pictures tomorrow night. As always, at hashtag JMV Takeover. I may try to utilize something like this down the hall coming up tomorrow night if we can. All right, quick break. Back with your calls next.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices. Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Indiana's Auto Giant is changing car buying forever. Introducing a warranty so huge, you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered. It's Hubler Auto Group's massive 10-year, 200,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any new vehicle at all Hubler locations with the warranty included. Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. The warranty's included. Acuras, Hondas, Nissans, and Mazdas. The warranty's included. The Hubler family has helped Hoosiers for 60 years, and we're not stopping now. Visit drivehubler.com for the perfect car and our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. As Indiana's Auto Giant, Hubler has it all. Why buy anywhere else? You're invited to Hubler. Click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles, except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join. I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture. It helped me get my job, it helped me pay for my house.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Indiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Indiana Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mortgage interest rates are sitting near historic low levels, and we are saving homeowners hundreds of dollars a month on a refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
This is Indy Sports Center.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2,
W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis.
A well-deserved break from your quarantine binge watching. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, let's go 5. We'll go about 25 minutes here with calls and tweets and emails and YouTube live chatter. Mike Greenberg, Mike Wells, Bob Lovell, podcast 1075thefan.com. See, I'm trying to read here. Tyler McClellan, YouTube Live. Patriots are already planning to tank for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they expect to win still. I know Vegas brought their win total down to 8. Listen, it's logical considering what they lost. But I still think that there's going to be an expectation of winning there. And I'm sorry, with the AFC East, until somebody does anything to unseat them, Buffalo, I know Buffalo made the postseason, but Buffalo, the Jets, Miami. So we'll see about Jarrett Stidham, and we'll see if anything else is ultimately done there. But I still think that they want to win. I don't think there's any tanking going on. It's from Joshua. JMV, I completely agree with you. Even just one proven wide receiver gives you 3 really good targets for Rivers with Campbell in the slot if he can stay healthy. And see, that's one of the big reasons why. I know the expectation is that he can stay healthy, but he wasn't healthy at all last year. You want to – I want more than one because you want to make sure you plan against that. This has been a 3-year-long running saga at that position. And there is a chance that you can absolutely, at least in your intentions and your selections, put that to rest tonight. You sure as hell can help me sleep better. Hey, JMV, what are your thoughts on Paris Campbell that the Colts drafted last year? Shouldn't he be much better this year? Bob, I do agree. I do, but what I'm saying is he's been so often injured so early in his career. I'm just saying the more the merrier on this. The more the merrier. You have plenty of time, and that's great. If you want to select guys in the 5th and 6th round that you hope and cross your fingers that you think on paper will be good down the road, you do it. But your down the road is like in a couple of months here. Hopefully. I mean, this is not, well, you're building for the future, and this is what we're doing. They've already been off the path. I just think that you have to continue this. Because of the guy that you brought in, I think you need to add more help for this guy this year. That's why I asked Mike Greenberg a little bit earlier. All right, national opinion. National opinion, is it that the Colts are, right now with Phillip Rivers, a team that can challenge to play in an AFC title game? He wasn't sure because he didn't believe in Rivers. I mean, he actually turned the question around to me, well, why Phillip Rivers? And I explained to him around here why it was Phillip Rivers and how most of you aren't sold on Phillip Rivers, with the exception of Phillip Rivers not being Jacoby Brissett, somebody you've already seen. Mike Greenberg also asked me, why not somebody else in free agency? Why not a rookie quarterback? Because given the landscape right now, they wanted to bring somebody in, and even without the landscape, they still wanted somebody that they knew. Somebody that Frank knew, somebody that Nick knew, somebody that, as Phillip Rivers told us a month ago, had 85% of the playbook down, where all these other dudes, all the new guys coming in, and the lack of time that they're going to get, given these circumstances, are going to be behind the 8 ball big time. Remember we talked to Clyde Christensen, the quarterback's coach with Tampa Bay? And we talked about, Clyde and Tom Brady coming in and, that being a big deal, but, you don't know the playbook and how you guys are going to get used to it. And he just said, well, listen, Tom Brady is ready-made, and that's fine. I believe that it's ready-made, but it's still more difficult to add anyway, certainly under these circumstances where you don't get the normal time of preparation. They wanted somebody that was ready-made. They wanted somebody that they knew. They wanted somebody that was certainly well acquainted with the coach, the offensive coordinator, and the playbook. And they also wanted a dude that came in here on 1 year. They wanted the option that hopefully, through his success and the teams, to bring him back another year. I mean, if it doesn't happen, he won't be brought back. He'll probably retire, and it'll be a failure. You got to help this dude out a little bit. Tonight gives you the opportunity. Russell's at 239-1070 next. Go ahead, Russell. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. Go ahead.
All right, man. How about that Jalen Hurd out of Oklahoma? Quarterback. He's second in the Heisman Trophy.
If there is, Russell, thank you for the call. If there is a quarterback that I think they may have a little bit of interest in, it's that one. Now, I don't think they're going to draft him. I'm not going to say that they're going to draft him. But if they end up going, let's say, for example, if they draft somebody in the 3rd round, that might be a point of interest. If they decide to go quarterback, which I don't think they will, with the 3rd round at 75, or let's say they trade back and they get another 3rd round selection and Jalen Hurts slides that far, they may have some interest there. But again, I think if and when, because I think they will at some point draft a quarterback, when they do, I think this is going to be more of, hey, let's see what he can do. This is going to be more of a dart and a dartboard for the future. But the 2 second-rounders should be for the now. But further on, if it works, whatever. So that would be a guy of interest. And I know that there's been a lot more speculation revolving around, Jacob Eason. Some, regarding Anthony Gordon of Washington State. I haven't heard anybody nationally talking about him at all. It's been more locally here. I haven't heard anything involving Nate Stanley around here. What other quarterbacks have basically been Jacob Eason, Jalen Hurts, and Anthony Gordon a little bit, right? This has been it?
Yeah, I think after Anthony Gordon there's a fall-off and a bunch of fringe guys that they might be practice squad QBs, but nothing significant.
And who's the dude from Florida Atlantic? We didn't talk to Mike about it, but Mike had the report earlier this week that they had a couple of video conferences with him. That makes sense to me because you get him later, and that's more of a project guy. Hey, let's see what you have in this guy. That makes sense.
He's kind of like, he reminds me of P.J. Walker.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're going to have much of a thought of doing that with these early selections. That's going to be more late. It's from Chris Gable. If you have a stretch the field guy, how much better will Jack Doyle be next year? I just think if you have somebody else there, I mean, I mentioned the hybrid possibility of Chase Claypool. Like, all you Notre Dame fans, I know you want Chase Claypool for the sake of Notre Dame and Chase Claypool, but Chase Claypool, with his size, his athleticism, and his versatility. I mean, and Frank Reich being the Frank Reich of 2 years ago, not the Frank Reich of last year, run the damn football and play boring. You know what I mean? Let's run the damn ball and be boring. The Frank Reich that was more of the, hey, let's go for it on fourth down at our own 20 like I'm playing Madden 94. I think, to me, Chase Claypool would be interesting from a variety of angles and could quench the thirst of a couple of different positions on this team and would be fun to see what Frank might be able to do with him. And your question was, Chris, does that make Jack better? Hell yeah, it makes Jack better. I mean, being healthy makes Jack better. And I like Mo Alley Cox, but I'm not going to sit here and count on Mo Alley Cox. I mean, I kind of view that the same way as I view the wide receiver. I like Paris Campbell, but you got to see it to believe it. Talented, no question, but stay healthy. You got to see it to believe it. Reese Fountain, I hope, because the dude deserves it. That sucked last year when we were up there and he went down in Westfield with that injury. I hope, but it's nothing more than hope. You need more than that with these picks. You need more than that at both those positions, really. Jerry's at 239-1070 next. Go ahead, Jerry. How are you?
Jerry. Hey, JMV, great show.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Two things. One, I agree with you. With 34 and 44, we ought to have nothing but weapons. Just get wide receivers. It's like they've gone all in. O-line's good. D-line's good. You got to get Phillips some weapons now. And my biggest question is, I never heard anything about it. Maybe you did. Why didn't the Colts ever go after Hopkins or even try?
I don't know if they had the opportunity. I don't know if they had the interest. Listen, the whole Cardinal thing basically came out of nowhere. So I'm assuming that was a Bill O'Brien hatched idea, and I would guess he probably would have zero intentions on trading somebody of that value within his own division, much less the AFC. And, you put him in a spot where rarely, if ever, you'll see him again, and that's in the AFC West. Or the NFC West, I should say. Sorry.
It would have been nice to see Hilton on one side and Hopkins on the other. We'd have been really good.
Well, there's no doubt that gets me aroused like crazy. But, yeah, I don't think there was probably never going to be a logical possibility, Jerry.
All right, well, I just never heard anything about it.
Yeah, listen.
Ballard always says he looks at everything, but, I don't know.
Jerry.
He didn't even have a chance.
Yep. Jerry, I appreciate you, my friend. You have a great weekend. Call again soon.
JMV.
I like Jerry right there. Nothing against Jerry. I just can't imagine. I mean, like Bill O'Brien has been raked over the coals just by virtue of trading Hopkins in general to the Cardinals. Can you imagine if he traded him to his rival in the AFC South? I mean, maybe that's right up his alley, but yeah.
Did you see how much money he gave Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah.
I think it was $4 million a year more than the second highest offensive tackle.
Man.
They're not going to have any money left for Deshaun Watson.
And the rumor was yesterday when we left that they wanted to trade up, right? In this second round?
That was the rumor, yeah.
Yeah, that was a rumor, I think. So, yeah, I don't think that was an option. Hey, by the way, listen, Cliff Kingsbury may not be able to coach his way out of a wet paper sack. Seriously. He may not be able to. But my man is, if there's a dude out there that I would want to be, it might be him. I was trying to think dudes that I would want to be. And normally, like back in the day, when I had, I was a wild ass, like a Tommy Lee of Motley Crue who just went from starlet to starlet, who had the P-O-O-N down, like whatever he wanted, like that. That's just what it was doing. Like Tommy Lee. But, man, Cliff Kingsbury. And I don't know. Did you see the picture of his draft? I mean, it looked like a cover shot of Fashionable Mail.
Yeah,
he's
that
like,
house.
He's like sitting there in this incredible house. It really kind of looked like a lobby of a Marriott somewhere. I mean, it was incredible. And he's sitting there, leaned back, with his feet up on the coffee table, wearing probably $500 shoes with no socks. It just looked like an article from Fashionable Mail. And I thought, man, if there's a dude around that you would want to be, that would be it right there.
It fit his personality. And then you saw Mike Zimmer the picture of his house. It was so Minnesota. I mean, he had
It looked like Brad Wesley.
animal, on the animals on the wall, the big old fireplace. It was just perfect.
And then Dave Gettleman was in a corner with a fold-out table wearing a mask in his own basement last night. Here's the other thing, too. I know everybody hates David Gettleman. I know all Giant fans are mad. I mean, is it that surprising that, they took an offensive tackle that they thought that was the best? They didn't take an offensive tackle that Mel Kiper or Todd McShay or Daniel Jeremiah thought was the best. I mean, I can kind of get with that. Now, again, you do get in the category of believing that you're smarter than everybody in the room, and that can be dangerous. See, this is where I feel comfortable, because I damn straight know that I'm not nearly the smartest person in the room, and actually it's probably more consistent that I'm the dumbest person in the room, and I recognize that. I think that gives me an advantage. I mean, I'm comfortable in my own shoes, right? Like, that can be dangerous when you believe that you're the smartest, and hopefully that's not Chris. I like the fact thanks. I like the fact that I'm sorry, I was reading what Corey Elliott said. Oh my God, Jerry. Jerry was a good dude though, man. You know what I mean? There are ways to explain, and then there's ways to explain. And I'm choosing to explain to a good dude exactly how it went without being an incredibly large, irritable crank. So, I'm telling you what, Cliff Kingsbury, though, that is something. Now, thinking you're the smartest person in the room all the time is incredibly dangerous. I don't know if Gettleman is that guy, or if he's knucklehead, or, if he just thought, hey, I think this dude from Georgia's better than the guy from Iowa. Right? Maybe so. He was wearing a mask in his own basement, was a little weird. But I'm telling you what, Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, the only thing that was missing right there was having like 5 chicks surrounding him, like sitting back. He needed like 5 chicks. That was the only damn thing that was missing.
What was up with this yard? I mean, it was in like there's no way that was real grass. It had to be turf, right? I mean, in Arizona.
Oh, man. I think somebody, I don't even know why. I was reading some of the comments about it, and I guess he lives in Scottsdale, which is far from Glendale or something, and that's the place to be. And that's what cool dudes do. They have segmented lawns.
Yeah, it's a rich person thing.
Concrete and sod.
It's strange.
I doubt if he does his own landscaping.
Oh, I saw that the house was a $4.5 million house, so there's no way he's manicuring the fern on the side of the yard.
I'm telling you, I rethought things last night, though. I mean, I thought, Tommy Lee back in the day would have been great. I mean, hell, back in the 90s, Adam Duritz is ugly as hell, and that guy was P-O-double-N and everything around. But, yeah, being Cliff Kingsbury would be a good deal, I think, right about now. Saw that last night. Full Metal Pete says Gettleman was wearing a mask because he had an IT guy in the room helping him. It's still kind of odd. Whatever. JMV. Matt can't stay healthy. Who are we talking about? Swift's still on the board, right? He hasn't been selected. One running back was off the LSU dude, right? So you got Taylor and you got Swift and running backs coming up possibly in the second round here. From Mark, hey, JMV, injuries will happen. Claypool makes sense. Claypool makes sense to me from this standpoint. He makes sense because I think he would be a hell of an interesting weapon for Rank Reich to use. I mean, somebody that, is more than a hybrid. I mean, you talk about like Ebron being here. Ebron was a hybrid. I mean, and part of that hybrid was dropping the football. But Ebron, 2 years ago, had his best season and had a Pro Bowl season. He was a hybrid guy. They're looking for a hybrid guy. You get more of a hybrid guy with Claypool, don't you? I mean, you get maybe he's a wide receiver, maybe he's a tight end, and then wouldn't you feel really comfortable in having a weapon like that with Frank to put all over the field in different situations? I would. Austin Price says that was a turf football field at Kingsbury's house. Well done out of Kingsbury. That is nice. JMV, what about Jake Fromm, a quarterback option? Again, as I mentioned, I guess it depends on where he's going to end up. I can't, for example, I don't have the Colts selecting a quarterback before the 4th round. So if Fromm is a 4th round 122 quarterback, or if they trade back and get other picks later in the 3rd, early in the 4th, if he is, in that general vicinity, maybe they would have interest. I have them selecting a quarterback but not prioritizing their selection of a quarterback, if that makes any sense to you. So I haven't heard any buzz regarding Fromm other than people said he had good conversations with all the teams. The only thing you heard up until that point, that his mom was hot and he had small hands, which is the good and the bad. The good and the bad. JMV, you won with trading 34 for 40 and a 4th. I'm grabbing receivers at 40 and 44. I'm doing it 34 and 44, making it easy. JMV, I agree with you regarding the Giants and Gettleman. So what if he doesn't agree with what other people believe should be their first offensive tackle or the best off? I would agree because I don't know. I don't know. So if he has a differing opinion from the guys that are on ESPN or the NFL Network, then so be it. I didn't think it was that egregious of an error. And, others last night, look at Giant fans. They're all going nuts last night on Twitter. And I know this is possibly the most down we have seen them since the Joe Pisarcik era. But, if he has a differing opinion on who should be an anchor of his offensive line and it's not, a dude from Iowa, then so be it. That's kind of how I felt last night. Other than that, okay. JMV. Music Mac has as much faith in Paris Campbell as he does in Luther Campbell. With Hilton, Campbell, and Pascal, they obviously could use another strong pass catcher. Wide receiver, tight end would be playing fantasy football. Oh, you think that's me playing fantasy football? I'm not playing fantasy football. There's nothing fantasy about that, Joe. Nothing. Those are the facts. The facts are the past 3 years, it hasn't worked. Even when they were successful 2 years ago, it didn't work. They got stoned by a defense in Kansas City at the line of scrimmage with no separation at wide receiver whatsoever against the Chiefs in the divisional round of the postseason 2 years ago. Remember, by a defense where everybody was fired during the offseason. Bob Sutton, defensive coordinator, canned. All the frontline players that we knew Kansas City had then, see you later. They brought in a new scheme. They brought in Steve Spagnuolo. And the defense that was fired stoned the Colts. Every skill position right in their gear and didn't get out. This has long since been a problem. And granted, they have tried to address it. All right, you piece things here, there. You hope that Devin Funchess comes in. He's a bigger-bodied wide receiver, JMV. That's what you're talking about with Michael Pittman Jr. or Chase Claypool or T. Higgins. He's a bigger-bodied wide receiver. They tried it last year. Listen, you got him for a song, for some money, and he was trying to, with a quarterback he thought was going to be Andrew Luck, save his career. 70-plus catches 2 years prior. A down year in Carolina, out the door, here, 3 quarters is what he gave you. Granted, you try, but how hard are you really trying? This shows a little bit of dedication in a position where they've shown not much, if for nothing else. Does it not? A little bit of dedication, a little bit of attention to detail where they really haven't shown very much. Been some hope. There's been some hope, and there's been T.Y. I will say this. Nothing against Zach Pascal. Zach Pascal, I love Zach Pascal. I hope Zach Pascal is around. But I think we all understand with a 38-year-old quarterback coming off an off year, you're going to need more at that position. And frankly, you're going to need more at tight end, too. That is my stance, and I'm sticking to it. There's Pat Sullivan over there of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. We're going to do an episode coming up of hashtag Ask Pat. We got stuff to give away for some callers or for some emailers or Twitter followers. And you guys can go ahead and jump in, too. We got 200 plus rocking us right now on YouTube Live. So you guys can jump in, too. We're going to give away some stuff. And I've got some news for Pat Sullivan regarding the pain in the ass that has been my raccoon. Well,
what's up?
I'm going to tease this. I know you guys do this downstairs on Saturday so well when I called in.
Yeah.
Did you guys enjoy my story about passing the kidney stone last Saturday?
Oh, my gosh. I just wanted the other guys to hear it on our show because I'm not sure they had heard that. It's still one of the most amazing stories.
My dumbass teammates, I was barely 16. My dumbass teammates were telling me I had VD. And I said, I haven't even used this thing yet. I mean, how could I have it? What did I do? What did I sit on a tractor seat?
I'm telling you, I cannot imagine a 15-year-old standing at a urinal and hearing something clink onto the china and go back out and play. I would not today. You'd mark right on you go find your mom.
You know what the equivalent is? Oh, yeah, like I'm on. Hey, Mom, what? You know, I mean, there's no way. My dad wasn't around, so who was I going to run out to? Hey, Mom, look what's happening down here. No way. You know, it's the equivalent to, you know how they did in the Civil War, how they loaded and shot the cannons in the Civil War? That was the equivalent of what I was going through during this game.
It's just still the most unbelievable story. I just have never heard of somebody.
And I have no.
Because I hang out with a lot of high school kids at work, and not one of them.
I scored 11 second half points. I scored 11 points in the second half after passing a stone.
Nobody out on the carryout lot at Sullivan Hardware has ever dropped a stone over in the topsoil pile. Never. Not on my watch.
It's Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Your questions at 239-1070. Hashtag Ask Pat for your questions, too. We do have prizes to give away, and I've got more time for you coming up, too. Like Wesley asked me this. As a Notre Dame fan, I can see Ballard and Reich loving Claypool. Solid receiver, and as a blocker, he treats defensive backs like Nelson does D lineman. That's from Wes. We'll get back to that and a lot more. Hashtag Ask Pat for everything you want to talk about, from landscaping to barbecuing to smoking meat to mowing, everything outdoor with Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden next.
Sports with Dan Dockett.
SVP joins us. I want to go to the senior night.
It's 1 a.m. I'm sitting in this conference room with our staff, and I said, we got to figure out a way to acknowledge the athlete whose season just ended. And there's a gal named Megan Judge, and her idea was the hashtag senior night. And we just started soliciting. Everybody's got a story, and they're all proud of their kids. And we got to kind of tell some of those stories on SportsCenter. I mean, it's the coolest thing I've done since I've been at ESPN.
Dan Dockett, weekdays, noon till 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Interesting times, Indy. It's good to know Rhino Shield's helping folks end their painting worries like they did with Rich.
Aluminum siding built in 1961, and we wanted to change the color.
Our crews always follow Indiana's guidelines on social distancing. We work outside while you're safe inside.
It's hard to paint aluminum siding and get a good adhesion with regular paint, so Rhino Shield was great.
And while we're all catching up on projects, it's the perfect time to get a great deal and the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield.
They came on a Saturday and power washed, and in 2 full days, they worked on a Monday and were completely done by Tuesday.
Call today for a free virtual presentation and ask for our showcase homes near you where you can see our finished product from the safety of your car. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Protect your family and we'll protect your home for the next 25 years.
Hey, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Johnny is Forum Credit Union. Forum Credit Union, Kevin and the gang, always looking for ways to help you. I mean, really, anytime, certainly now, when you're under a pinch or a crunch and, you know, the stress of finances weighing you down. And here's what Forum Credit Union has. Just a lot of advice for you right now. ways to lower your monthly spending. You can do that right now. Forum Credit Union with those tips and guidance to help you. Steps like packing your pantry with food that lasts longer than that might in the fridge that can spoil, reducing your number of recurring subscription services for music and movies, but refinancing a higher interest debt that you have. That can all make a big difference in your monthly spending. And these are all great tips that my friends at Forum Credit Union, Kevin and the gang, provide to you. They're in it for you and trying to help you with times that we have never experienced before. Visit Forum's financial readiness page right now, forumcu.com.
Mike Wells here, and I'm letting you know that you can bet live on sports today. Yep, you heard that right. You can bet live on sports happening right now at betrivers.com.
Another week in quarantine here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
OBJ for a second and a fifth round pick.
Somebody you can bring in.
I'm saying yes.
You could take some of the wackiest scenarios.
If the locker room can handle it, you got it out after 2020, bring his ass here.
What's it going to cost you to do that?
A second, a fifth, you got 2 seconds anyway.
If you're talking about it,
give us a call. Give us your thoughts on that.
We're talking about it. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Kyle's over there. I'm John. YouTube Live. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Mike Greenberg a little bit earlier from ESPN. Mike Wells of ESPN.com. Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk. Draft coverage tonight begins at 7 with Matt Taylor. With Rick Venturi, with Big Joe Stasiak and Joe Wrights coming up tonight at 7 o'clock in what is going to be a huge round 2 and a huge draft for Chris Ballard and company tonight. 7 o'clock. Your coverage begins, and that is after the last word. Matt Taylor, Casey Valier, and the Gorman come at you at 6:30. Then your draft day coverage all day Saturday afternoon beginning tomorrow at noon. You've got a JMV takeover, hashtag JMV takeover for your requests. Get them in right now. We've got the best of the 90s and the 80s coming up for you tomorrow night. Hashtag JMV takeover begins at 6. It's all requests, Saturday night in-house party tomorrow night over on B105.7. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 in the morning or 9?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock on 93 WIBC.
9:06 we come on the air. I roll in at 9:02.
Kind of like it is around here, yeah.
Do a little pre-show meeting in that 4 minutes and
I'll clean the pipes before I walk in here, and I'm good to go for 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. So, 9:06 tomorrow morning, 93 WIBC. I made a cameo appearance on the show last week.
That was awesome,
had a great
man.
time.
Thank you very much for calling in, because it really makes it seem like it's a real show.
No, it is it's fun to listen. I listen to it all the time. I love it because I need advice. I suck at stuff. So
No, that's not true.
I do. And by the way, we've been having a problem with a raccoon, right?
Yeah.
So I walk outside the other day.
Yeah,
and
your family has a long history with raccoons.
That big SOB is just laying right in the middle of the road, dead as a doornail. It got squashed by a car.
Oh, did it
was
really?
Huge. See, I mentioned to you that I went outside on my back deck last week about 11 o'clock at night to take a whiz, and it ran and jumped at. It looked like a damn bear. It was huge, and this thing was huge.
But it could still move, because sometimes when they start to get sick, that's when you see them kind of out in the middle of the day.
It bought it though. I mean, it was done right there in the middle of the road, so it's gone. I didn't have time to get a live trap or anything. I think it was living under our deck too.
Yeah, I imagine
or at least spending a lot of time there.
Yeah. That sounds pretty normal.
Yeah, it's done. No more raccoon. I don't want to see a raccoon.
It's not
go
the
away
only
like
one,
that,
though.
but yeah. Yeah, it's not.
I
There
bet
are a lot around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you put the trap up, I think you set that baby, you're gonna find out it.
Yeah,
you're gonna get something. You probably get a possum.
Yeah, probably anything out there. Hashtag Ask Pat for your questions on Twitter, 239-1070 for Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. If you want to get on the air, or if you got anything there on YouTube Live, send them to me. And I shall ask Pat, hashtag Ask Pat on YouTube Live as well, and I shall send these questions to him. How are things going?
Things are going well. This is, we're almost in May. That is the busiest month.
It doesn't even seem like it.
Not
even close.
No, because it's just so crazy out there. But, you cannot hold the people back when it comes to their tomatoes and their flowers and their perennials and trees and shrubs, because today It was crazy. Now, I will say most people are still very respectful. That most people will wear a mask. Few bandanas. The bandanas have waned over the last 10 days. The first day out, as soon as the government said they think you should wear a mask, the bandana people came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
And then I think they're realizing bandanas kind of suck. I mean, as far as trying to hold them over your mouth all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's easier to put on your head like we used to wear in the 90s,
Right.
and they called them a drug helmet.
Oh,
they wrapped them around your head.
Yeah.
Or if you're bald, you wrapped them around like
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan used to all the time.
Sure.
Like that.
That's
Cover
how I
up your
do.
baldness.
Yeah, that's what I do. I like to cover up the baldness.
Hey, Curtis Manilow asked this, YouTube Live, #AskPat. Who goes first, Fromm or Eason?
Fromm or Eason?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jake.
Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
Curtis Manilow.
See, I pulled that one out of the rear end
That's
there, didn't I?
a rear end pull
Yeah.
right there that we like around here. All right, my wife wants to start a garden.
Okay.
All right. Listen, I'm going to make sure that she stays after it because I don't want it to be a weedy mess. So what should be tomatoes, green peppers?
Yep.
What do you
Here's
think?
the mistake that people make when they do a garden is they put too much in it.
Right.
Because, those little bitty tomato plants get huge. So you really have to space them out. And it looks stupid at first because, if you're putting two plants, 3 foot apart, 2.5 foot apart. So that's number one. Keep everything spaced. Then it's easier to weed. And I would suggest that you use a preen or something like that, a weed preventer in the garden to prevent weeds from coming up. So, and you can get an organic one too if you don't want to use the regular stuff.
Okay, right now it's grass. It's grass that I mow on the other side of my fence.
Well, you need
kind
to
of
till
in the
that
back
sucker
40.
up, brother.
Now, can I go out there and spray a lot of grass killer on top of it to kill it, and then take the plow out?
Yeah, you sure can. You can actually you can take Roundup, or you can take an organic weed and grass killer if you prefer. Kill it, and I'd probably spray it twice. You would have time to do that because you really don't have to have the garden in until, really 3rd, 4th week of May if you wanted to. You can start as soon as we're frost free about May 10th.
Right.
So you put that on there, till it in. Do you have a tiller?
I do.
I bet you one of your neighbors does.
Well, I have my neighbor Ron DeVault has one, and he's going to actually do it on a tractor.
Okay.
But I have a smaller one. It's a little feisty son of a gun too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll get something done.
Yeah.
But I'll have to dig for it in my
But if
if
he's got a tiller on the tractor, he may not even. He could just till that turf right in.
Yeah. So that's what he had told me. He said, "Hey, go ahead out there, kill that grass."
Yeah. Let him just let him
kill it
till
like that
it
raccoon.
Oh yeah.
And then move on from there.
Yeah.
So
I would use Roundup. A lot of people, because I see Roundup on TV commercials with attorneys all the time, but you can get an organic one too.
Right. So Mike Wells called in a little bit earlier, big Green Egg fan, as we well know, and mentioned that his hot box or his fire box, one of his box on his big Green Egg has broken, and I wanted to get him in touch with Mark.
That is Mark. Matter of fact, that's Mark. Mark's been doing the deck, so he listens every day.
Mm-hmm.
Our rep from Big Green Egg, and that's why he emailed me. He sent me a text. Yeah. He said, "Tell John that all of that is lifetime warranty."
Lifetime warranty, Mike Wells.
Yep. So we'll get him. We'll get him a new one, and then he also recommended using the government money to buy a Big Green Egg. I thought that was really for food and rent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
he's thinking
whatever floats your boat, I guess, in these circumstances.
I guess it's a cooking appliance.
Yeah.
So that could help with a pandemic.
So that is covered. So Mike.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't even know what is this thing that's broken. What box are we talking about?
It's the bowl where the charcoal sits.
Okay.
So once you take your cooking grid out, then there's a fire ring that you would pull out, and underneath that is the bowl. The bowl.
He said it was broken.
It's broken.
So,
it's lifetime warranty.
Lifetime covered,
Lifetime.
Too. That's well done. That makes
not
feel
his
good.
life, but somebody older than him.
We need to get a hold of him. Can you guys get a hold of him, or will I?
No, we'll take care of it at the store. Doesn't Mike live up in Zionsville?
He lives in Brownsburg. So he lives right over there close to Mark, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark can grab it for him.
Yeah, it's well done there. Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, tomorrow morning at 9:06, 93 WIBC.
Oh, we're going to have a ton of fun.
Pat and Denny?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what?
Denny's funny. Denny was laughing.
Yeah.
Denny laughed when I said VD.
He laughed with that. He's a little bit of a teacher's pet. You know,
is he?
Yeah, because he's one of those guys that always wants to do and say the right thing.
He's a brown nose?
Yeah, where I really don't care. Kind of like you. It's like, whatever. So I
did not call Denny Smith a brown nose.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So Denny, he is Paulie Smith Plumbing Company. That was his family's company. So he is a master plumber and then became a financial expert. So he's just one of these guys that makes you sick because he's so smart.
Yeah.
I mean, stupid smart.
I get with that.
I mean, so smart that it's like he'll go through an answer on plumbing, and I'll look at him, it's like, so it's leaking? You go, yeah, it's leaking. All right, well, why don't you just say that? Because he can't. He has a hard time because he's so smart.
I understand completely.
But we're kind of a big deal. So we got that, and then, it takes literally 2 people to put that show on the air. So it's a big-time deal.
Hashtag Ask Pat is going full artificial turf for your lawn like the Brady Bunch, a boss move or a loser move?
You know what? Oddly, it is becoming kind of a thing.
I wondered about that.
And
is it really?
Yes, it is. And you know who's on that is Good Bones, 2 Chicks and a Hammer, which is a HGTV show that is centered right here in Indianapolis. So they do a lot of stuff in Fountain Square.
You said 2 Chicks and a Hammer?
Yep. The name of the show is called Good Bones.
It sounded different in 1985 when the movie I saw with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mina and her mother, Karen.
I think Amber Lynn was in the one I watched, but yeah, go ahead. What's her name?
And Mina.
Yeah. Okay.
Mina, she is over in. She is kind of known to lay some turf on some of the projects that she does. And at first I was kind of thinking, wow, really? And, I'm seeing it more and more because we love our pets. And those, people always, that's the question we get all the time. Well, how can I keep grass growing and have a dog? You see it? See Mina? Good Bones?
Yeah, I see it. 2 Chicks and a Hammer focuses on neighborhood revitalization in Fountain Square, Bates Hendricks, and the surrounding areas.
That is a
very
popular show nationally on HGTV.
How have these chicks not been on this show before?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Because we have.
Sounds like a fun time. Do you know them personally?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not like we're pals.
How did they get this gig? That's a pretty good gig, right?
Yeah, it's a very good gig.
Yeah.
And they're just so natural. You know what? Of all those shows, Karen and Mina are probably the most natural at what they do. They really do.
Karen is the mom. Mina, the daughter, are the co-founders of 2 Chicks and a Hammer Incorporated.
Yeah.
They began rehabbing homes in 2007. Mina bought a house and needed a lot of love. Mina had just graduated from IU. All her friends had grown-up jobs, and with a need to also feel like a grown-up, she purchased her first home with the help of her mom, Karen. So there's a little background, right? I had no idea.
Oh, man.
Right there.
It's great. What are you watching? Sports? There's no sports anymore. Start watching. It'll be on
I've been
here.
sleeping. I mean, like last night I was
still doing the
I
medicine.
I had to squeeze out 10 hours last night because that thing ran late. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to pull out of this. I mean, it's because I actually feel better. And then when it gets to be about 9 o'clock or 9:30 or after the sun goes down, I'm ready to go to bed like I'm somebody's grandpa.
Now I wake up with an anxiety attack generally about 4 or 5. Yeah.
All right, Pat Sullivan's in studio. What are some things that people really should be concentrating on? Because we know this. Everybody's out in the yard. Yeah. Everybody's working on landscaping right now. What's
Everyone
first things
is fired up. And here's the thing. So we are normally I say you get to May 1st, look at the 10-day forecast, and if it looks good and clean, go ahead and start planting. But you do have to remember, we just got past the freeze-free date, and people confuse freeze-free from frost-free. Frost-free is not until May 10th.
Right.
So if you go and you want to jump the gun and you want to start planting your garden and putting tomatoes and peppers in, because let's face it, what you're really trying to do is just get the first tomato so you can shove it in your neighbor's face. And the ground is still a little bit cold. So when you take a tomato and, whatever it is, tomato, even flowers, and you drop them in the ground, they're too cold to do anything. They're just going to sit there anyways. So I guess if you really want to grow them, I would put them in a separate pot, put them out on the hot driveway and get them, going that way, and then transplant them into the garden later.
Wow.
Because that's what it's all about. You know what? It's do you ever go to a cocktail party where people start talking about their maters?
Well, I mean, I never go to a party where I have to wear a button-down shirt. So would that be okay? I guess it would be okay, right?
Tomato growing is kind of a Hoosier tradition.
Yeah,
and it's
See, I don't
and
like
if you
tomatoes.
can't grow a tomato, there's a lot of women
I like
won't
tomato
marry
sauce.
you.
I just don't. There's no way I'm ever going to pick up a tomato and take a bite out of it.
Really? What did
And
your wife?
I can't stand like little tomatoes in my salad.
Really?
I don't want it because you take a bite and they squirt.
You're not getting good tomatoes. Your wife, when you guys were dating, did she ask you about your skills in growing tomatoes?
No,
Really?
because I was.
I bet she
I
wished
was the
she
king.
would have.
Well, there's no doubt she wished she would have done a lot of things differently. I think now. Well, I was the king of the group date. I think we were probably together a year, and I don't think she ever went on a date with me where there wasn't like 3 or 4 of my friends involved.
So that was kind of the cover.
Yeah, I was a big group dater back then.
Yeah, and then you got married and went on a honeymoon, and then it's all of a sudden it's like,
Uh-oh. Now we're in trouble.
What have I done?
The group date was, I was really comfortable on the group date.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long were you married before the children came along?
6 years.
Really?
Yeah, 6 years.
We were married like 2 weeks. That's a true story.
Got on that quick?
That is true story. I wasn't sure how that
Kevin
worked.
Bowen around here. I just learned Kevin Bowen.
Yeah.
Kevin Bowen family or dude. Did you know that?
Again? They're going
to have their first in
their
June.
first?
Yeah,
I get kind of confused.
I just found that out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I played a little Paul Anka as a reentry from now on up until the birth. And
Maddie's a good girl.
Yeah. So that's I didn't know that until this week, though. I felt, especially since it's coming up in June, it'd been a while. So I think I was like the last to know.
Well, I wish you would have said something. I would have told you.
See, Pat Sullivan even knew. I don't know what I'll say. Coming up on next Wednesday, Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden in studio. Hashtag Ask Pat again for your questions. Hashtag Ask Pat. This is from James. JMV, can you ask Pat exactly what I should be doing as far as my lawn fertilizer is concerned right now to get some grass growing?
All right. So if you want you can still, it's not too late to put down crabgrass control and fertilizer.
Right.
Unfortunately, everybody's going to react what they see, which is weeds and dandelions. So they're going to want to jump to the yellow bag, which is step 2. And it's too early for that because if you go putting that on right now, then there's going to be more weeds that germinate later on and you'll be disappointed. But if you're using step 1, it's going to prevent a grass seed from germinating. So you got to really figure out what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to grow, put grass seed down, or are you trying to just control the crabgrass and fertilize the lawn? I would suggest that if you don't have bare spots that are bigger than the palm of my hand, not your hand, then I would suggest that you just fertilize it, use the crabgrass control, let the lawn thicken itself naturally by fertilizing the lawn and getting rid of the competition of the weeds. And then in this fall, if you still have some pretty good spots, then do a little seeding in the fall.
All right, hashtag Ask Pat. This is from Paul, and I kind of get this because I struggled with this as the beginning as well. With a zero radius lawnmower, how do I stop tearing up when I make that turn to go down another row? How do I stop making a divot?
Probably don't take the turn so fast.
That's the only thing I know. You just can't. I mean, listen, I
think it's
don't
crazy
really care
how fast some of the guys
I fly.
go.
I absolutely fly.
And do you notice a difference? And I know the lawnmowers of the mowers, and I don't know a lot about those things, but I know the cut has gotten better with them. But do you notice a better cut if you go slower?
I don't. I just notice it takes more damn time. No, yes.
But you're a man.
Probably,
you love your lawn.
If you go over unevenness, then you may have to go back over it again
because you're off. You're actually flying. You're actually left the pavement.
If you have pretty even terrain that you're mowing, you won't have that problem. But if it's uneven, or if you're kind of on an incline or something, you may have to go over it twice. I found this. I normally, my front yard, I cut a couple of times a week. Maybe 3 times a week during peak when the grass grows of the season. Other
like
parts
right
twice
now,
a week.
it's going to really start growing
like
right now.
I will probably, I haven't mowed the entire yard twice, just a couple of sections of it twice.
But when you're turning on that, you have a zero turn.
Oh, I can rip it up easy.
So, but do you ever get up in the marbles and kind of like just lose it, and where you're just, and all of a sudden you're just a passenger?
Yeah. Well, see, I love it when I take one hand off and I'll just veer to the right. Yeah, all the time that happens for real. But Paul, I thought that was a good question, and those with a zero radius turning lawnmower, which I think most people kind of have right now. Certainly, if their lawn is big enough, that is a question. All right, tell us about the locations.
All right, you know what? I was up at our new place today, up at Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan, 114th and Allisonville Road. We are now open over there because the Gov changed the rules on Monday.
Gov did,
to allow, which, you know what? I know, I say it every week, the Gov is trying to keep us safe, but what he's doing to family-owned, locally owned liquor stores is ridiculous. Now you have to stand in line. My son was over at the CVS. He thought he was in a liquor store. He said 4 people in line in front of him had booze because nobody wants to wait in a line and have somebody from a liquor store stick their grill in your face to take your order.
Because you don't even know what you're.
No,
like when I go to a liquor store, I want to. Yeah, I mean that's tough.
So the Gov is screwing the liquor stores, but he did change on Monday, allowed the garden centers to open, which sucked too because there was like Sundown Garden had been closed, Rosie's was closed, I think Altum's was closed. Well, Home Depot and Lowe's wasn't closed.
Yeah.
So he's kind of screwing a lot of the independents. But I know the Gov is trying to keep us all safe. But I just wish he would call me. He's got my number. Call me.
Yeah, and
straighten him out on a few things.
The local independents are the ones.
Yeah, the national chains are killing it.
Yeah.
And he's hurting the local guys.
Don't hurt the local guys, Gov.
Yeah, Gov, come on. Call me, Gov. 696-1087. It's my cell.
Now, would the Gov come on your show tomorrow?
Probably not.
Why not?
I don't know.
Does the Gov not go on downstairs?
I don't know. He seems like a pretty good dude. I think, you know what? I give everybody credit. He's doing a good job trying to keep everybody safe. But I just think sometimes the consequences of what he's doing, probably he doesn't realize what's happening.
I got you.
Yeah.
Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden. My man, you are the best. You know that.
Oh, no.
If I'm out tomorrow, I may lob you guys another call if you don't
do
mind.
that. So you're doing B105 again?
I'm doing that tomorrow night. It's the best of the 90s and some 80s. All requests. Last week I did 41.
Wow. That's
41 phone requests. I played back 33. And for 4 hours, all but 4 songs were requests.
Really?
So, I mean, it truly is. The people that call in program it. I mean, I play. I normally it's just what I want to hear, but I played all these requests. All but 4 songs were requests. You don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's real localized radio.
I listened to a
there.
little bit of it. It was nice. It was fun.
It is.
I was out.
It is fun.
I thought, I'm going to listen to John.
I put these dudes on the air, too. I love putting them on the air. And the fun part about it is it's a mixture of people that listen to me here and then their audience, which is like just stratospherically apart. I mean, it's not even close.
Right.
And you kind of bring them all together. It's fun as hell, man.
Yeah.
It is. It is enjoyable. I love putting people on the air over songs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, and Chris Woolridge is in there with me. Otherwise, I'd be hosed because I can't do any of that stuff.
No, you're good.
But it's good.
It's all good. Call me, though.
9:06 tomorrow morning.
9 to 1. So we're on
1.
4 hours, 93.1. We just have we're just a bunch of goofballs. We talk about lawn and garden, all your home improvement stuff. So you can call in, you can give us tips. We kind of screw around a little bit. But it's fun.
It's awesome, man.
Yep.
Thanks for being awesome, and we'll continue doing this every Friday, right?
Thanks.
Here. All right, that's Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Hashtag Ask Pat right here. All right, quick break, and we'll come back. We got your calls at Anything Goes. Anything Goes coming up at the top of the hour, right here on 93.5 and 107.5 FM, The Fan.
Shut in or just hanging out. Nice thing about Kevin Bowen's podcast and the latest sports news is you can listen anytime, anywhere. 1075thefan.com or your inbox for free.
DraftKings Sportsbook is America's top-rated sportsbook app. It's adding to the thrill of the NFL Draft with a special sign-up offer up to $1,000. Think you know what your team is going to do? Put your money where your mouth is. DraftKings Sportsbook is offering all users a special 20% profit boost on any 2 bets you make on the draft. Number of ways to take action on the draft and cash in on the profit boost. First, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code WFNI when you sign up, and for a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook has a sign-up bonus up to $1,000, and don't forget, enter code WFNI and get your sign-up bonus up to $1,000 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21 or older, Indiana only. Deposit comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, John here for Love Heating and Air Conditioning. I just talked to John the other day, too. We were talking about situations that can go wrong. And certainly, I mean, even in these times, you can still have things that go haywire that have to be fixed. And you can count on John and Chris and Love Heating and Air Conditioning to get the job done and get the job done right. 317-353-2141. People that you can trust, and certainly people that you can trust through these incredible times. Making sure they follow CDC recommended guidelines, wearing masks and gloves during repairs or fixes or installations, and testing their employees on a daily basis. Not only do you trust them for the best service, but that peace of mind is an absolute must right now. 317-353-2141. That's Love Heating and Air Conditioning. The first time you crank on that cooling unit, I'm hoping it's running okay. If it's not, or you need an upgrade, it's John and Chris Love to the rescue. 317-353-2141 online, love-hvac.com today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. We don't know what lies in the weeks to come, but one thing is certain. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, and there's never been a better time to be looking at a cash-out refinance. Use the extra cash to pay off credit cards or just stick it in the bank. And when you do a refinance at the Home Loan Expert office, you will skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. Start saving now and apply online with our 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
More people are getting over coronavirus. From the WIBC Newsroom, I'm Chris Davis with your coronavirus update. State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box.
We've seen the number of people who have been discharged grow from 68 to 80%.
She says the number of people testing positive has still been steady. That's why she says the state can never have enough personal protective equipment like gowns and gloves. There's no need to volunteer for the new IU Fairbanks School of Public Health testing.
The participants, as we mentioned, were randomly selected, making sure that this is a scientific study that accurately reflects the demographics of our state.
The new Paycheck Protection Program is set up to help some of the small businesses that did not get approved before, says Senator Mike Braun.
The guidance and the rules are really earmarked to help the smallest of the small.
He says any next steps by the federal government must be carefully considered because of the amount Congress has added to the national debt. You've got another update coming up from the WIBC Newsroom. I'm Chris Davis.
Go trackside with Kurt Cavan and Kevin Lee. Tuesday night at 7 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
This situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Oh, what a day it's been. You guys have been fantastic. Mike Greenberg of ESPN, Mike Wells of ESPN.com, Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk tomorrow night. I'll be on with Bob coming up tomorrow night after 11. I'm going to call in Pat and Denny on their show tomorrow on WIBC at some point between 9 and 1. Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden with hashtag AskPat. Tomorrow night, B105.7. It's an all 80, I should say this, it's a best of the 90s, but also some 80s. It's an all-request show. And what I want to do with everybody, and here's hoping you're listening right now and you want to be involved with me, but tomorrow night, 6 until 10. It's an all-request show, and when I mean all-request, it is, as I mentioned, only 4 songs in a 4-hour span were not requests from you on Saturday night. And that's what we do. This is programming absolutely for you. So if you haven't heard it, check it out for the first time. If you have and you've been involved in it, hashtag JMV Takeover on Twitter. We trended number 1 here in Indy last Saturday night, and we want to do that again. So it's a hashtag JMV Takeover. Yeah, I got to shout out to the listeners who have been awesome. And with the listeners and with your involvement and with the trending and the popularity of it, now we get sponsors that want to jump on it too. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun, and we're doing it again tomorrow night. That's why I do it. I do it just for you guys, to have some fun, give you guys something to do on a Saturday night when you're at home. for fun, kind of like anything goes, which is next at 239-1070. We don't check you in. You call that number. We put you on hold, and it's basically a free-for-all. It's like YouTube Live right now, but on the radio. 239-1070. It's anything goes on the other side, and then we have you covered. The last word with the Gore Man, Matt Taylor, Casey Valier, and then our draft coverage begins at 7. That's Matt Taylor, Joe Wrights, Joe Stasiak, and our friend Rick Venturi, all coming at you on what is a pivotal Friday night number 2, draft-wise, for Chris Ballard and the Colts. Tonight is the night. 7 p.m. Your draft coverage starts later on tonight right here. All right, 239-1070. It's anything goes at that number. Let's jump on board and have some fun. 239-1070. Anything goes. Next.
Sports with Dan Dockich.
Mitch Daniels, the president of Purdue. What is your thought on whether or not Purdue football will be played this fall?
I'm hopeful, and I would point out, this thing has come on us all so fast. Just 6 weeks ago, we had no idea what was coming. We've got 3 times that long, Dan, before school even starts again. Nobody can say right now that we can be confident, certainly of a full season of the way, and a season the way we've known it.
Dan Dockich, weekdays, noon till 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Place your legal sports bets at BetRivers.com, your new home for sports betting. Millions of betting options a year on the sports you love. We offer live in-game betting on major sporting events worldwide. Tons of bets available during games, from money lines, prop bets, and many more. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we offer fast and reliable withdrawals. Sign up now, and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds, more action. Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Interesting times, Indy. It's good to know Rhino Shield's helping folks end their painting worries like they did with Rich.
Aluminum siding built in 1961, and we wanted to change the color.
Our crews always follow Indiana's guidelines on social distancing. We work outside while you're safe inside.
It's hard to paint aluminum siding and get a good adhesion with regular paint, so Rhino Shield was great.
And while we're all catching up on projects, it's the perfect time to get a great deal and the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield.
They came on a Saturday and power washed, and in 2 full days, they worked on a Monday and were completely done by Tuesday.
Call today for a free virtual presentation and ask for our showcase homes near you where you can see our finished product from the safety of your car. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Protect your family and we'll protect your home for the next 25 years.
Hey, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are you thinking about selling your investments and getting out of the market right now? Hi, I'm Rick Edelman with 4 quick questions before you do. Do you have a diversified portfolio? Is your personal situation and are your long-term financial goals unchanged? Are you rebalancing your portfolio like you should? And do you have sufficient cash reserves? If you answered yes to all 4 questions, you don't need to change your investments. But if you didn't answer yes to all 4, then call us right here at Edelman Financial Engines right now. If you're not properly positioned to weather this storm, you could be at risk. We've helped thousands of people just like you get through wild markets just like this one over the past 3 decades, and we can help you get through this crisis too. If you're at all uncertain, call us at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. Call us and call us right now.
This is Indy Sports Center.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2,
W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Nobody's playing, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop talking. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
All right. Any of you suckholes want to come up here and knock me off?
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, let's get this thing done. You know, I was told that the last word, and I'm assuming this is Jeffrey Gorman being exact, had that down to a science. We got 30 minutes on the nose. and Gorman out of the kitchen and everything else. This is going to be a great broadcast. So we got a little extra time in this Anything Goes segment here. We're going to go for about 20 minutes if you guys can do it, if you guys can sustain it, if you want to work in your draft calls, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, whatever. But this is Anything Goes. It is all for fun. It's to get stuff off your chest. If you want to talk about tomorrow night of my takeover on B105.7, we can get it done. Whatever you want to do, it's Anything Goes at 239-1070. So be ready. Line number 1, you are on the air. Who's this?
It is Daryl. John, how you doing, buddy?
Daryl, you going to be in action tomorrow night? Did you get a new ride?
I have not yet. I'm still hunting one down, so we're looking at everything. But the reason I called, first of all, you got to tell Pat Sullivan to rename that big green egg to the big gold egg because of the price of those things.
Well, I will say this. It's across the board. Most barbecues, especially when you go higher end, are incredibly expensive. There's no doubt.
Also, do you have your backup liquor ready just in case the Colts do something like grab a lineman and a center in the first 2 picks in the second
I'm going to have to shut my damn phone off is what I'm going to have to do. You know? That's what's going to have to happen.
I agree with you. They got to get some wide receivers. They got to have somebody to throw to. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I've been hearing they might even think about picking up the running back from Alabama. I mean, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. I went out and bought another bottle of Crown Royal.
Yeah. I probably just have to shut my phone. I've already got a handful of sleep aids ready to rock, so I'll probably just go damn to bed. You know what I mean? Just be done with it. So, yeah.
All right, JB, you have a good night. We'll be listening tomorrow. Buddy.
Daryl, I appreciate you, man. Good luck with that new ride. Hey, shout out to everybody on YouTube Live. You guys took us to incredibly new heights today. That was well done. JMV, man, why am I nervous about the 34th pick? Because you're nervous in believing that either A, they're going to select a lineman, or B, they're going to trade out of it. That's why you're nervous. That's why I'm nervous. They're going to select a lineman or trade out of it. That's why you're nervous. You're nervous because everybody in the world seemingly wants to move up with these first couple of picks to start the second round. Yes, Kyle told you a little bit earlier. Adam Schefter, I think, had this tweet. This is the deepest second round we have seen in the NFL draft, according to the experts, in 25 years. And when you combine that with the depth of the position, the biggest position of need for the Colts, tonight is the night. You don't even need Rod Stewart to sing that bad boy. Tonight's the night. Line 2's Anything Goes at 239-1070. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, John, I'll give you a clue. It's 99 degrees here in the desert.
Oh, is it Cliff Kingsbury sitting back in his fashionable male abode? No?
Close enough.
Jonah, good to hear from you, brother. How are you?
I'm good. On my way to pick up my daughter, so I'm no longer on YouTube for the rest of the day.
Is it 98 degrees really in the desert right now?
Yeah, it's really hot right now. So
I have a friend that I went to high school with that lives in Avondale. How hot is it there right now?
Avondale is probably a good 45 minutes away, but it's still in the valley. So anywhere in the valley, it's pretty much the same.
Right. Well done.
But right now, my car is saying 99 degrees, although my phone app is saying 100 degrees.
I tell you what, I'd do it, though. I know it's 70 out there and nice here, but I like it. I like it hot. I like it hot and sweaty. I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's all year round motorcycle weather for sure.
No doubt. What do you got?
So I just not much. Just hope you have a good weekend, and I hope that see the back-to-back wide receivers pick. So coming in Monday, I can look forward to see you drinking Black Cherry White Claw on YouTube.
No doubt. Hey, let me tell you this, Jonah. I want to thank you and everybody else because we've kind of neglected YouTube Live until this week. And, man, you guys have grown this so huge in the past couple of days. I got to thank you for that. That's a big deal.
Well, I like it because I knew who you were before, but I really started listening to the show after. I'm not going to say names out of respect, but after two guys got fired.
No, I mean, you can, because they're my good friends. I mean, you can talk about Jake and Derek because I have them on the show too. I mean, they're always going to be my friends, no question.
Okay, well, fair enough. But yeah, once I started watching or listening to you, I became an instant fan. And as I said before, YouTube is the best way for me because it doesn't go in and out like some streams would if I were to stream it.
Right.
So, but no, it's definitely grown, and having conversation there is a lot of fun. If anyone wants to listen to you on YouTube, it's crystal clear, and conversations in the comment. It's sometimes interesting, but it's still a fun time.
Yep, that's well. Keep going and keep doing what you're doing. You're getting a lot of shout-outs within right now the YouTube live chat that's going on from Matthew and Chris and guys. So well done. You and the kids have a great weekend. Stay safe, Jonah.
All right, you too.
Jonah in the Valley of the Sun right there off of the YouTube live feed that we have rocking right now. JMV, Rappaport just confirmed the Colts are listening and willing to trade back on that 34th pick. It's going to surprise nobody. Host of this show would not be surprised at all. Not at all. Line 3 is anything goes at 239-1070. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, JMB, Brian in Greenwood. How you doing?
Great to hear from you.
Hey, first of all, I would like just wanted to see if you might be open to putting in an opening with the great what the heck was his name? Bill Paxton? No. Yeah, Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton? Weird Science?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Chet from Weird Science?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You put in an opener with him, maybe from the Terminator. That guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
You want me to do if I had a morning show, I'd definitely do Good Morning, Turd Brain. That would be, that's what Jeff and Big Joe should be using right now.
But I got, the main reason for the call, I
just don't know which one would be Turd Brain. I'd have to figure that one out later.
Oh, there you go. I got 13-1 on Pittman to go to the Colts yesterday.
Did you really?
And I just think he's a perfect fit. I mean, they probably will trade down, but I just think he's a perfect fit. He can come in. He's not going to be a superstar, but he can come in right away. And he's a big guy that, the Rivers likes. And he's super productive at USC, and just think he's a perfect fit.
Well, it's funny. You go back 2 weeks, Charles Arbuckle, the former NFL player and the college football analyst, was on this show, and he sold Kyle and I both on Michael Pittman Jr., and I'm right there with you. And the only reason why I also think about Claypool is because Claypool, to me, with his hybrid status from tight end to wide receiver, would be an incredibly useful piece offensively for Frank Reich. I'd be excited to see what he could do with him, but I was sold on Michael Pittman Jr. by Arbuckle a couple of weeks ago. I'm with you.
NFL.com has Pittman fifth best wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Claypool will still be there at 44 for what it looks like. But the last thing I wanted to say, I can definitely see now 2 years of Rivers and 2 years of Rodgers here in Indy. What do you think?
Well, I said this earlier today. I think last night and the way Green Bay handled Jordan Love, I think they ensured that Aaron Rodgers will tag now more years than he originally felt like he was going to play onto his career. He may play now until he's 70 because of that.
Yeah, just leave Danica there.
He may.
Or at the house.
Hey, shout out to Greenwood. Have a great weekend. Listen tomorrow night, man. Get some requests in. B105.7. So do you think there's a possibility, if they wanted to right now, Kyle, do you think they could get Pittman at 34 and Claypool at 44?
Oh, yeah. I'd say,
you can't getting the sports arousal over here, Casey. You want to see?
I don't think you can wait to 44 if you wanted Pittman. I think you'd have to take him at 34.
Yeah.
But I think Claypool will be there at 44.
Oh, but I'm just, what's going to happen, right? We all know what's going to happen. Trade out of 34, draft a D lineman, trade out of 44. And I'm going to have sports flaccidity all weekend.
So you'd be happiest if they went receiver. Would you be okay if they went receiver, safety, I think you said?
I'd be okay. If they went receiver, safety, receiver, I'm okay with that. I'm not excited about, not overly excited, not as
but you're not going to have
by that.
Sports flaccidity. You're not going to have that?
No, I will not be. Well, there'll be no flat. I will not be. I better not even say that. There will be no flaccidity sports-wise.
Receiver, O-line, would you be okay with that? Just for a second round?
No. I mean, go receiver, O-line. And I know what everybody's saying, that the offensive lineman is not as deep as the wide receiver. But all you're looking for, I think, right now at least in the short term, is you're looking for a good quality backup. I mean, how tough is it to find somebody in round 3 that's equal to Joe Haeg as a backup? Is it that hard?
You think it'd be pretty easy? I mean, they love Joe Haeg, but I mean, he wasn't starting, so
they loved him
they
enough
love
that
him
his
that
ass
much?
went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he
wasn't playing.
You got Josh Andrews. You're trying to fill the gap of Josh Andrews and Joe Haeg. I mean, you can't find that in round 3? How tough is that? So you're going to forego, because I know that every rung that you fall draft-wise, you lose a level at the beginning here, certainly. Take advantage of this being as deep a wide receiving core as we've ever seen here. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be heartbroken as long as you get wide receiver 2 of the first 3, or 2 of the first 3, I'll be satisfied. I won't be as fully aroused as I would be if you went wide receiver. But I wouldn't be devastated. I'm going to have to turn my damn phone off, I guarantee you. And see, here's the part of the problem. I'm either going to have to stay here and find out what they do at 34, or I'm going to have to hear it on my way home because I'm not going to get my ass home quick enough. Anything goes, line 4 at 239-1070. Hello?
Hello.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
To answer your last question, yes, it is very difficult to replace a Joe Haeg anywhere. I'd be okay with them trading back as long as they traded back and didn't get anything out of the third.
Do you think it's going to be that different? You've been talking to Wrights. You've been talking to Joe Wrights, haven't you? That's what Joe Wrights told you right there. I know. You've been talking to Wrights. Wrights told you it's going to be really difficult to replace Joe Haeg. I get it.
Oh, I like having a good offensive line. I like big guys up front taking care of everybody else.
They do. They do. They have a backup. I mean, hell, they felt compelled enough to bring back LaRaven Clark, who's a healthy scratch, more than he actually ever plays. So, I mean, how hard can it be in the third round to bring somebody in that's equal to or greater than Joe Haeg?
Oh, I'll take it. And the last thing I'll add to you, tomorrow night, I want to hear some Tone Loc, some Funky Cold Medina, some Wild Thing, maybe some Marky Mark and Funky Bunch. Can you help me out there?
Listen, you're not going to hear that. You're going to hear some Ida Kamose. You may hear some Paperboy. You're going to hear some Dr. Dre. And I'll probably be off the air by 9 o'clock. So, yes, you're going to hear all that.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you. Have a great night. Hey, Case, come here, man. I'm going to show you something. I'm sorry. If you're watching on YouTube Live, you can see this. Look at that. Yeah. I'm not even going to say, because I love my boy, that he knows it. JMV Ballard talks about value. Can you get a wide receiver at 34 that could have been drafted in the teens? That sounds like good value. But instead, you're going to draft one in the 5th round that you say, well, he could have been drafted in the 3rd round on that. That's what I say. Line 5's anything goes at 239-1070. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, John, this is Terry.
Hi, Terry. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a pointer on your zero turn thing, but I want to get your take on what should we expect from Paris Campbell?
I believe in Paris Campbell. I do. I believe in Paris Campbell, and I believe that Paris Campbell is going to be legit. But I don't – it's different. If he, struggled at just being a rookie receiver last year, I'd feel better about it. He struggled with his health, and it was constant, and that concerns me. It's not his level of play or what he can do. It's going to be his availability, and that would concern me more. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather him been up and down or struggled in his rookie season than missing most of it because he was injured. So that's the part that concerns me. That's why I would feel the need to be more aggressive in addressing that position than just feeling like Paris Campbell's all of a sudden going to be injury-free or close to that next year.
Yeah, you think if he is injury-free that we could expect him to play to the level of a 1?
Yeah, I would. I don't know about a 1. I would a fast, versatile 2, and then I think you have to factor this in. If he is healthy, I think Frank and Nick will find a lot of really interesting uses for him and that excites me a great deal. He just has to be available, and that's my concern. And I put that over, just having an up and down rookie season. That worries me more than just, struggling with year number one.
Yeah. Well, let's hope you got a career worth of injuries all done up in 1 year.
I hope you're right about that. You have a great weekend. Thank you. Listen tomorrow night. That's great. But you guys are watching on YouTube Live right here. You can see the reactions to this. JMV, can I still look forward to Yacht Rock Review at White River coming up in July? I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I always give you the positive, and because they have yet to cancel it. But, I mean, listen, this week, and this week they canceled the great event that is Indiana Black Expo that I love, and they always have great entertainment coming in here. And, Amp and Reggie have that basketball game for charity that they do. That's in July. So, I mean, can you expect it to be compromised? I'm going to give you the positive spin on it because I just want to be that. I don't want to give you the doom and gloom. But, yeah, it's more than dicey, Michael. 239-1070 is the number. It's anything goes. You're on the air. Who's this?
It's Troy.
Hello, Troy. Go ahead.
Hey, I love the takeover, and what I love the most about it is no commercials.
There aren't. That's the one thing about it. On a Saturday night, there aren't any commercials, especially when you get at the bottom of the hour toward the top of the hour. Normally there's nothing, and we just roll through everything. That's why you get more songs during that 4-hour span than you get in a lot of 6-hour periods. You really do.
Well, that makes up for everything. No commercials.
I like it, man.
Have a good week.
Hey, thank you. Now, granted, I love commercials, and I want commercials, and I want many commercials, and I always want commercials, and I love our advertisers. But he is right. And Saturday night, they're starting to recognize the hidden gem that is that Saturday night 6 until 10 slot. So advertisers have been asking about it. But what Troy just said is accurate because there aren't too many advertisers on at that time. I do get to squeeze in a lot more music, and I go quick. I mean, I don't waste any time. I don't sit there and scratch my butt and go blah, 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 blah. I mean, I go and talk over intro ramps, and we go hard, we go fast. It's a fun time. That's why, I mean, it's up to you guys. You guys program it. I just kind of sit back and do nothing. You guys do it all. We got a little more time here. Are we okay? All right. Anything goes at 239-1070. You're on the air. Who's this?
JMV, it's Paul Andrews. How are you today?
Hello, Paul. You going to be listening tomorrow night, brother?
You know that I am, and I'm going to call in. But the first thing I need to tell you is that if the season were happening, the Reds would be up at least 7.5 on the Cardinals right now, and probably 5.5 on the Cubs.
Yeah, we'd be talking about their magic number right now. You're right.
I know, and apparently the baseball gods hate the Reds. That's all I can think.
Yeah, I think they want us Reds fans just to walk around and be schlep rocks our entire life, right? So
they might, but I'm giving heck to all my friends who are Cardinals and Cubs fans. So. We'll see
we'd be talking magic number by now. It'd be great. I'd be talking so much junk to Cardinal fans like that.
Well, here's hoping we get there real soon, my friend. So, I'm going to call in tomorrow night. I'm going to give you a big rec request. So,
ooh, I like it.
We've talked about it a few times, so I'll get one of either the O for that song requested to you sometime tomorrow evening.
Listen, I played that song. I'll do that song coming up tomorrow night. That's a great song and a great request.
I'll give you a shout, man. Keep doing what you do.
Paul, thank you. That's the hashtag JMV Takeover tomorrow night. Frederick asked, did you just say sports felicity? Yeah, I just make up new terms all the time. We did find out that felicity is actually a word, though. So that's good. Casey Valier looked it up. Gorman shout-outs coming up. Gorman is not in his kitchen. He's on the top bunk of his bunk bed. And he's going to be giving you the last word coming up next. Gorman, Valier's already go. Matt Taylor's going to be here. Hey, listen, Gorman's going to tell you that I'm kind of an idiot, but don't listen to a word that he says because you guys know who's the truth. We'll see if the Black Cherry White Claw bet comes into function on Monday. We get Rick Venturi on Monday. We'll get a reaction to the draft. Kyle on Monday.
Make your prediction. What do you think the Colts do if they stay at 34-44?
Michael Pittman's coming up at 34 unless Mims is not selected by the Bengals. And then it may be Mims. I'm going to go Pittman Jr., though. Kyle, great job. Great to see all you guys. Draft coverage follows the last word at 7. Hashtag JMV Takeover tomorrow night, 6 until 10. Live, local, all request radio. See you then. Talk to you then. Be safe.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Right now at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, buy 3 tires, get 1 free. No credit needed financing options available. Big O Tires.